And good morning. It is a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio, brought to you by Glory Days Grill. We will get into Would You Rather Wednesday scenarios a little bit later on. Before we do that, we have much to do. Mike Bordick's going to join us. Drew Forrester, I guess, is going to join us as well. It's what it is. We'll do an NFL draft segment today. Eric Edholm, NFL.com, NFL Network. He'll check in with us as well. Saw that coming up on the program today. Today's show brought to you, as always, by Superbook. I hope you didn't bet against the Suns last night. I couldn't believe it. And then they tried to F it up.
Did they win?
Yeah.
Wow.
They scored 12 points in the fourth quarter and tried to piss it all away. Kevin Durant made a late three to force overtime, and then they steamrolled the Nuggets in overtime. Drew Eubanks, they call him the Jokic stopper.
That's what they call him?
I think that's what they should.
Well, it's a good thing you guys have him.
God. It was a weird game, man. So I was wrong.
Had a rough
admittedly.
night in college basketball.
UMBC
was up all game.
Yeah, they ended up
found a way
late. Yeah.
Illinois was up all game against Purdue. And Purdue proved why they're the number 2, 3 right now. Yeah. So, I don't know.
Not a good day, but
for some reason I liked Alabama. They got drum rolled by Florida.
Is that a thing? Drum rolled?
It is now.
I'm pretty sure.
Alabama just
do
got
you
drum
mean
rolled,
steamrolled? Is that
no,
what you meant to say?
Rolled.
I don't think that's a thing, man. I don't think that's anything.
That's definitely what happened.
I don't believe so. Look, man. I don't know everything, but I don't believe you can be drum rolled. We'll
Alabama basketball.
Okay.
Explain it to me then.
We'll get our top men on that. See if you can be drum rolled. The Orioles tonight are minus 165 favorites against the Pirates. Another bet. Well, what was the final yesterday? The Orioles
keep
game?
losing money on the Orioles, and spring,
right?
Yes,
everybody just kept saying, it's Suarez versus Wheeler. You got to bet the Phillies, right?
Zach Wheeler, he had a great. He went 3 innings. He had 6 or 7 strikeouts.
Did he?
Yeah.
Well, Jackson Holliday had no problem.
No, he didn't.
That goes to prove Jackson Holliday is greater than Zach Wheeler, I believe. I think that's the way that it works. Anyway, the moral of the story is bet with Superbook. Orioles minus 165 favorites tonight against the Pirates. A night game. You'd think that maybe if the complaint about putting the games on TV is that in the afternoon nobody is watching, no problem. Tonight, the game is on at night. So obviously that one would be on television, right? Or some form of... Right? Right?
I was way off. Andy Suarez, what's his name?
Albert Suarez.
He had 7 strikeouts.
I was like, what do you... I was going to be surprised if that were the case, but...
Yeah, they got the Wheeler.
Yeah, they did.
Got him out in 2 innings.
They did. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's... I don't think that was... I don't think they got him out.
They chased him out.
Is that what it was? Bet that with Superbook. I don't bet spring training baseball, so I'm not the one to give you advice about that in particular. I wanted to look to see what the line was for...
here's where Andy Suarez got the win. Albert Suarez started. That's why I was confused.
Wait a second.
Because Andy Suarez came in the 5th inning. Of course,
you
can't qualify for a win.
The Orioles have multiple Suarez.
They have multiple A Suarez's.
I got to be honest with you. I did not know this. I did not know they had another A Suarez.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to hold it against you.
I was unaware of that altogether. Well, things are going swimming here. That's our bang-up coverage of Orioles spring training. Brought to you by Superbook.
You don't get it anywhere else.
Download the Superbook app. Go to superbook.com. Use the code GlennClark23. When you sign up, you'll receive up to $250 in a same-day first bet match. Win or lose from Superbook. All right. Why is my phone getting blown? Who's messaging me? Out of control. Who doesn't know that I'm starting the show right now? Who is it?
Can't wait to find out.
Oh, God. It's my buddy Brandon talking to me about professional wrestling.
All right. Well,
he
is important.
I do love Brandon. That's my guy.
Is that
it's not a good sign.
Is he telling you MJF is back?
No, he's not telling me that. What is he telling me?
Then whatever it is, it can't be.
It can't possibly be that important.
If it's not about MJF, then
it was 8 straight. My phone just kept I mean, it was kind of nice. You were like, ooh. All right. Anyway, sorry. I don't know what just happened there. I don't really have a ton as far as, we always try to do like news at the top of the show. Look, we know the Justin Madubuike thing, as we said, it was happening or it wasn't happening. And it would really only be news if it didn't happen, either because they worked out a deal or because in the bizarro world they decided not to keep him. When I first saw, I don't know what it was in the afternoon, I was looking at a list of players who weren't tagged, and I saw Chris Jones' name on it. I was like, what the hell? And then I realized it was because they had to tag L'Jarius Sneed. So it's sort of like,
and Chris Jones at the parade declared that he was coming back.
Right, he was coming
back.
back. He did say that. So I guess the deal's just done.
Right.
Yeah. They're
not worried.
Right. He's just whatever amount they want to give him. Hey, Chris, $5 million total for the entire time. So it'd be sort of like somebody else looking at a list of players that weren't tagged and seeing Patrick Queen on it. Like, wow, they didn't tag Patrick Queen. Well, yeah, because they had to tag somebody else, and that's the way that it went. It's not good news. I hate the off season because the way that fan bases tend to look at these things are, did you win this? And there is no such thing as winning a trade or winning a signing or something, anything along those lines. You win football games. You win championships. You don't win off-season moves. I have no doubt that within front offices, they probably approach it in a similar way. Did we get the player we wanted for the price that we wanted that player to be? But that's all well and good for them. Again, is that going to lead to it? Did not signing someone because they cost a little bit more money than you expected them to, was that the difference in allowing you to win a Super Bowl or not? I don't react to things that way. There's no way to say it's a good thing that the Ravens tagged Justin Madubuike yesterday. A necessary thing, of course. They had to if they couldn't get a deal done. Not knowing any of the details of how it's going, trying to get a deal done, I have no idea what opinion to have about the entirety of the subject. There's a part of me that would always say, if you had to slightly overpay in order to make sure the cap figure was down for this year and you could just get on with your business, then maybe it was worth slightly overpaying. As I said a year ago, I wouldn't have cared if the Ravens gave Lamar Jackson a fully guaranteed contract. It impacts me in no way. As I kept saying constantly throughout this process, quarterbacks, other than Russell Wilson, always get their money.
Well, the Broncos are going to pay him.
Not the entirety of it, though. Yeah. He gets all the money that was guaranteed, but he doesn't get all of the contract by being released. Overwhelmingly, we have extraordinarily few examples of this, where a quarterback doesn't get the totality of the contract that was agreed to them because the dead money ends up being too overwhelming for a team to be willing to suck it up, unlike, again, except for the Broncos. So to me, it wouldn't have impacted me one bit if the Ravens would have given Lamar Jackson a fully guaranteed contract. And if it allowed them to get on with their offseason, I was not remotely opposed to it. I said that constantly throughout the process. Did I think it needed to be fully guaranteed? That's for somebody else to worry about. It's not my problem. It's not really, to me, even their problem. They, to me, were fighting on behalf of the rest of the NFL and just, hey, we're not going to do this. But once you decide someone's your quarterback, I don't care if it's fully guaranteed. So I'm always going to be the person that will say, if paying someone a little bit more or you, quote-unquote, losing a little bit in a negotiation is the difference in allowing you to go to work and get other things done, I'm going to say it's probably worth it to me. Now, I understand. To them, every million matters. And I also don't know exactly what it is that Justin Madubuike and his camp are asking for. It's possible they're asking for something extraordinarily outrageous. That they were trying to force the Ravens' hand. Let us go to free agency. Now, again, if they think that that's the market value, then the Ravens should probably be paying that on the market value. You don't tag someone traditionally if you don't think you're going to pay them whatever the market value is. Having difference makers on the roster, if that to me costs you in your margins, I'll live. And I get it. You want a team to have more depth. And the Ravens a year ago probably had more depth than a lot of Ravens teams did. Didn't make a difference in the AFC Championship game. But they were able to withstand a bit more significantly than some, specifically at certain positions. Wide receiver, obviously. Proved to have more running back depth. Lost 2 running backs, and yet none of us think that running back was the reason. Just, not giving the ball to the running backs. They had depth along the offensive line as they dealt with injuries there. They had depth at the cornerback. They were a deep team, and that would be the argument probably the Ravens would make about why they can't just go ahead and pay Justin Madubuike today, because they have to save enough dollars in order to have enough depth. And I get it. I'm kind of talking out of both sides of my mouth. Like, I understand. Me personally, I'd rather they be able to get on with it. Dip their toes into free agency. They might say, look, man, we're never going to be involved in the first layer of free agency anyway, so it's not that big of a deal to us that this $22 million figure is going to be a hold on the cap. No doubt they want to get it done before the season begins. They want to get it done before the deadline in July. But the likelihood of them being involved in the first wave of free agency was always kind of small given their restraints. As we were talking about with my buddy Brian McFarland, the likelihood of there being like a Marcus Williams type of signing in this class was always very slim. Still, it would have been great to go ahead and get that done, have a lower cap figure for this season, and have that option. What could it cost them? It could cost them a lot of things. If their hope was to free up some money to go after a Derrick Henry and after a top running back, maybe the difference could be as much as $10 million on the cap. If ultimately Justin Madubuike has to play on the cap figure. On the tag figure, yes. Could it be that it's what prevents them from being able to make the Ronnie Stanley move? That they just say, we wanted to maybe move on from Ronnie Stanley, but even spreading that number out over 2 years now becomes trickier to do if we're dealing with a one-time cap hit of $22 million. I don't know. We're all spitballing. I can't tell you definitively what it's going to take. We know right now they're over the cap, so between now and next week, they're going to have to make some adjustments, whether that's outright releases, and you would expect news of that to start coming in. We saw some other teams start doing that last night. The Seahawks released Jamal Adams and Quandre Diggs. We'll probably start getting news of that the next day or so. Whether that's, again, restructures or releases remains to be seen. I know we're all expecting, say, Tyus Bowser to be released. I've said before, I think that you got to figure out if he's physically capable of playing. If he is, then there's no way that he's got a market. Like, no chance. So if he's physically capable of playing, then presumably you just say, hey, you're going to come back at $1.5 million next year because that's what the dead cap would be, and that's the way it's going to go. And I'm not speaking. I want to make it very clear. I'm not speaking on Tyus' behalf in any way. I know we do a show with him, but I am not speaking on Tyus' behalf, unless there's something we don't know. Unless like it's poisonous between the Ravens and Tyus Bowser. If he's physically capable of playing, which is a huge if that again we could never get a straight answer about. If he's physically capable of playing, then you just take the $5 million that way. If guy's going to cost you $1.5 million against your cap no matter what, then you might as well cost you $1.5 million and see if he can play. Like, I mean, I don't know. If he can, he can't. That's what it is.
They save $3 or $4 million if they
something
if
like
they
that.
cut
I don't remember. I thought it was 5 maybe. Whatever the number is. But there are obvious things that we would expect them to do in the next week to get to the cap number. Still, all that being said, unquestionably disappointing that you couldn't get it done before this deadline with Justin Madubuike, just in order to have the number locked in lower to set up into the rest of free agency. Doesn't mean that it was the wrong thing to do. They had to tag Justin Madubuike because they can't lose Justin Madubuike. He's too good of a football player. Today's show is also brought to you by Atman's Deli. We are so excited to have Atman's Deli on board. If you're craving that classic New York deli experience, look no further than the new Atman's Deli in Baltimore's Harbor Point. Corned beef piled high, hand-rolled bagels, and something a little bit different. They've got a bar. Atman's Harbor Point. Go to atmansdeli.com for daily specials. Let's talk a little Orioles this morning. Always a pleasure to welcome in our friend, Orioles Hall of Famer. And, of course, man, you hear on 105.7 The Fan, Baltimore Baseball tonight. He's our buddy, Mr. Mike Bordick, and he's back with us now here on GCR. Mike, good morning, pal. It's Glenn. It's always good to catch up with you. Thanks for taking the time for us.
Hey, Glenn. Yeah, thanks for having me, man. No problem.
Mike, I'm worried, right? Like Jackson Holiday had another great day yesterday, and I'm worried in a way that sometimes we get carried away, that our expectations are outlandish. Like, this kid has played a handful of games at AAA. He's not even old enough to drink legally, and yet genuinely we believe that he is going to be a superstar, like, immediately for a team that's trying to win a World Series. Is there danger that we're letting things get out of control in what our expectations are for Jackson Holiday? Or when you look at this young man, do you say, yeah, I don't know, this kid is going to be a star?
Yeah, I think he's going to be a star. Now, will he have some bumps in the road? Maybe a little setback. I think all guys, especially at the major league level, have to make an adjustment, and sometimes it takes a little time. Sometimes it takes longer than others. I mean, I look back, when I followed Nick Markakis, he struggled most of the year and then ended up becoming a really great major league player. Just last year, I mean, look at Gunnar Henderson. He started off the year really slow, right? He was pressing, wanting to do really well for the team, and a lot of voices said send him back down, let him get comfortable again and bring him back up. But he fought through it and ended up becoming Rookie of the Year. And I think, Jackson Holiday will probably follow in the same suit. I'm not going to say one way or another, well, he's going to have a major setback, but I know there are adjustments that need to be made. He didn't have any setbacks coming through the minor leagues, just rolled right through. So the kid's got a ton of composure, obviously a great family bloodline, knows how to play the game, and is just as poised and as confident as you'll ever want to see a young player. So, this is a young man's game nowadays. A lot of young players have been exposed to the pressures, I think, early in their careers, and he's no different. So he seems very unflappable right now.
Is there the idea that he's only played 54 combined games between AA and AAA? Is there any part of you that says, as good as he might be, he definitely could still use a little bit of seasoning, no matter what he does in spring? Let him do a little bit more there and just definitively prove it, or is that not necessary?
Wow. You know what? I guess probably 10 years ago, I'm on that side of, let these guys get seasoning in the minor leagues. They got to earn their stripes. But I just think young players are just far more prepared.
Okay.
And I think a lot of guys are developing at the major league level. And I don't think the Orioles are scared to put him up there. I mean, he's around his peers. It's a great group of young players. And I just think he'll be better suited, to be honest with you, at the major league level and learning there. And I don't think there's anything to really hold the organization back from keeping him in the big leagues either.
All right, he's MVP this season, Rookie of the Year and MVP. That's the way it's going to be, Mike. That's our expectation. If it's anything short of that, we're going to be disappointed. He's the greatest baseball player to ever live. That's the way that we're going to feel about it. Mike Bordick with us here on GCR. Mike, I feel like the other big topic of conversation this week has been Colton Cowser, who's been off to a great start, but there's no guarantee that there are spots for everybody. And I think the phrase that everyone uses is, hey, this is a good problem to have. I don't even like saying that because I don't even think it's a problem. Like I think that it's a blessing. It's my God, what we would have done to have had this many major league players on the roster for a number of years in recent Orioles history. But this outfield glut, right, that they're dealing with Hayes, Mullins, Santander established, and we're still waiting to figure out what the deal is with Mullins after he got a little banged up the other day, and then Kjerstad and Kauser behind them. Is it imperative that like a young player be playing every day? Like, is there a world in which you say, hey, even if they deserve to be here, it might be better off for either Kauser or Kjerstad to start at AAA just so that they're playing every day? Or maybe is it time for the Orioles to start thinking about whether they can use one of their major league assets in a trade because they're blocking someone that might ultimately be a better player? Like, how do we deal with that?
Yeah, all the above. I think really they have to leave every door open for these kind of opportunities because you know that the Orioles are the team that is looked at right now. Every other team is looking at the Orioles for potential trades, that depth to their organization, possible big league players because, I mean, every one of their young players is a stud. I mean, honestly, they could fit into a major league roster as well as any player right now. So I think the Orioles are keeping that option open. I think every organization, though, that wants to be successful ultimately has to have depth. And I'm talking about depth in every position, whether it be pitching, bullpen arms, and position players. And I think the Orioles, like you said, are very blessed right now to have so much talent. Now, will it ruffle some feathers when one of these young outfield stud has to go back down to the minor leagues? It may, but hopefully it just builds that chip on their shoulder. So when they do get called up, they have that opportunity to flourish. And then it's like Wally Pipp, right? I mean, that's just the way the game's going nowadays. So, listen, Mullins got hurt a few times last year, missed quite a few games. And so I think this is, guys just have to be ready for that. Austin Hayes avoided a lot of injury last year, but he's been known to, be susceptible to injury. Santander's a guy that's been around a long time. He's been fortunate to not get hurt, but there's possibility there. So I think this kind of depth is crucial for this organization to have this kind of sustainable success. But I also think it positions them well for every possible outlook on the trade market too. They have the ability to ask for more, because teams are just knocking on their door for one or two of these guys, these young studs.
And to the point, I would say it almost could go either way, right? Like you have the option of if you could use one of the younger players in a deal to land, say, a top-notch starting pitcher, that's great. But if at this point, and they're all up for free agency in the next 2 years, if one of the veteran outfielders could help, say, your bullpen and then maybe restocking your farm system, I hate it because I like all of those guys, right? Like, I like every single one of them. But if they're ultimately not going to be re-signed because you have such faith in the next group of guys, I don't know that I'm opposed to going that way either.
No. Listen, I think the Orioles, that's the way they got to play the game. I think if they want to stay mid-market, small-market team, I think we all hope that they can open their pocketbooks and land some of these, star free agent pitchers. But fact of the matter is, they have to have foresight. And I think one of the best examples of foresight are the Tampa Bay Rays, who've had sustainable success for years now. And the reason being, they get rid of their star players when they know they can't sign them to free agent deals. And I think, you're right. Our free agent, for next year's crop of guys, they are being shopped around. There's no doubt about that because they're just not going to be able to afford them, if they want to stay in that mid-market, small market kind of range. So, no, absolutely. Their names are out there a lot more, I think, than the younger players as far as the Orioles being sellers, so that they can give the younger players more opportunities and have control of them for the next 5-6 years.
Mike Bordick is with us here on GCR, just talking some Orioles on a Wednesday morning. Bordy, I don't know that you and I actually have had a chance to talk about. I am a bit more concerned, I think, about the back end of the bullpen than a lot of Orioles fans are. I with all respect to Craig Kimbrell, who actually had a really nice regular season a year ago. We all know what happened in the postseason. It just, I feel like we're forgetting how critical Felix Bautista was. They won 49 They went 49-24 in games that were 1, 2 runs or extra innings a year ago. Like, that's bonkers how significant the back end of the bullpen was, and the standard is kind of overwhelming. Are you at all concerned? Do you feel like, hey, there's enough of a special sauce with how the Orioles have developed relievers that we just don't know who it is, but there's going to be someone who's going to be their next Felix Bautista, Yennier Cano coming in from this group?
Well, the bullpen's my biggest concern.
Okay.
And no doubt about that. Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, I've been on teams where, I thought we had great players up and down the board, even with starting pitching, but it was the back end of the bullpen that faltered and led to losing seasons. What Bautista did last year was incredible. And when you have arms like that, man, oh man, you go a long way. And of course the Orioles did. And you mentioned the numbers, the stats behind that. The hope is, that somebody else steps up. I mean, Cano could potentially slide in there, but there's just too many question marks with the back end of the bullpen. And I'll tell you what's crucial about this is bullpens, they thrive on just confidence. And when you got Bautista at the back end, everybody felt confident last year, right? I came up with when Eckersley was the closer for the A's. We just felt as confident as any other team, knowing that it was going to be locked down. And that's the kind of presence that Bautista gave this team last season. I just think there's a lot of doubt right now. I think everybody's kind of keeping their fingers crossed and hope that the bullpen gets off to a good start, because that could go a long way. That could really push them through the middle part of the season, and it could potentially open up some opportunities for some trades, at least so the Orioles will see what their needs are. But to be honest with you, that whole bullpen's a question mark right now. There are a couple guys that, got roughed up there last season, and they're main parts of the bullpen. So who knows, though? There's some young minor league arms that might slide in there and surprise the people. And there are also some starters that may end up back in the bullpen and kind of help on the back end. And I guess the guy that comes to mind is Tyler Wells, who's had experience at the back end of the bullpen, and is really one of those confident young guys.
But if Bradish and Means are going to be out for a little while, you feel like you have to have them in the rotation. It's oh boy, because
Absolutely.
To me that was part of the solution, Mike, was Tyler Wells moving to the back end of the bullpen, and now we have to continue to play the waiting game with that. All right, Mike.
No, that's for sure.
Before we remind everybody about the Baseball Warehouse and League of Dreams, you actually met my two sons at that bowling event that our friend Chris Ruling from Grade 8's Memorabilia hosted around Christmas time. I got a 9-year-old and I got a 6-year-old, and they came to me before in February and decided they didn't want to play lacrosse anymore. They wanted to try baseball this year. So we've got them in the program up at Carroll Manor. They're going to be playing for the first time. But, I already worry that my 9-year-old's a little bit behind. And so I've been, spending time every day with him working on various things. So if you had to give one piece of advice to a first-time baseball dad, what would be the most one critical piece of advice that you would have to offer?
Yeah, be patient and have fun with it, honestly, because I think we all, as parents, we might see a little spark of athleticism and we push a little too hard. Enjoy these moments with your young kids. Give them a tennis ball on a wall and let them go to work, man. Honestly, just that hand-eye coordination is crucial in the game of baseball. And I think support is the most important thing. What you don't want to do, obviously, is turn off your young athletes by being too critical about what they do on the field. And I'm guilty of that, like a lot of parents are. But, even if your son's drawing pictures in the dirt, man, give him a big hug at the end and say, great job. You know what I mean? I mean, that's I think, crucial nowadays. Kids need that support. They need to know that they've got somebody they can trust on the other line. So that's about all I got to say about that. But if you want to build the skills, honestly, a tennis ball on a wall and tell them to get their eyes behind it, it's going to help every aspect of their game.
I know that's true. I also think about all of the windows that I broke at my parents' house when I was a kid. So I get a little bit nervous about that. All right, Mike, what can we plug, whether it's Baseball Warehouse, League of Dreams? What can we get some plugs in for you for?
Yeah, man, all of the above right there. We're still doing great lessons and clinics with the Baseball Warehouse. It's an awesome spot to learn the game. I think, one thing that we really focus on is the fact that you're getting professional instruction, and these guys have gone through that whole process, right, of what it takes and the ups and downs and not making teams and then having to bounce back and build resiliency. So, teaching some really good character, I think, aspects for these young kids to follow in, because not everybody's going to be a major league player, but man, oh man, you can learn so much just about being a good part of your community through sport. And that's what we hope to really ultimately build there at the Baseball Warehouse. And the League of Dreams is just, we are so excited about this upcoming year. We have some incredible partnerships. Cal Ripken Senior Foundation has been so nice to us over the past 10 or 12 years to be partners with them, and now kind of adopting some of their STEM program on the adaptable side is really exciting for the upcoming years. And we have a great partnership, too, with the Catonsville Community College. So we're looking to do a lot of fun things this year. I encourage everybody to check out the leagueofdreams.org website. It's just such a positive, impactful part of our community, and I'm honored and blessed to be a part of it.
Mike Bordick at MBordick on Twitter, as always, is how you follow him. Always appreciate you, sir. Let's talk again real soon, all right?
Sounds good. Thanks, Glenn.
It's Mike Bordick with us here on GCR. Appreciate him taking the time for us, as always. All right, Would You Rather Wednesday scenarios are up on Facebook and Twitter. Glenn Clark Radio is how you find them. It's all brought to you by Glory Days Grill. And today's show is also brought to you by Toyota. High school basketball playoffs continue. You want all of the results from last night, the upcoming schedules? You can go find it in updated brackets. You can go find it as well as a look ahead to what's coming up in the spring at the high school sports level at countysports.zone. It's brought to you by buyatoyota.com and your local Toyota dealers. Drew Forrester, for better or for worse, is scheduled to join us next. Boy, it'd be a real shame if he didn't make it in. We just have to, get on without him. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
The ultimate fan experience awaits you at Sports and Social Maryland. See how we're raising the sports bar with our massive 100-foot media wall featuring 40 HD TVs and a 47-foot big screen. Bet on your favorite teams and this year's biggest events at the FanDuel Sportsbook while enjoying your favorite beers and cocktails, plus our delicious takes on bar food classics. Visit Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland at Arundel Mills. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hungry? With 7 locations throughout Maryland, Glory Days Grill is always right around the corner. They have wings, burgers, salads, sandwiches, and drinks to satisfy everyone, as well as tons of televisions and sound delivered right to your phone. Glory Days is the best place to watch football or whatever your favorite sport is. While you're there, be sure to check out Goose Flight's Lager, named in honor of legendary Raven Tony Goose Siragusa. $2 of every can is donated to the Goose Flights Foundation. Glory Days Grill. Great food, good sports.
Why bet with the big boys this football season? Instead, try your hand with the local book, Superbook Sports, this fall. Superbook Sports is the book next door. Just a dedicated team of the best odds makers in Las Vegas, making sure you get the best prices and parlays anywhere. And now, Superbook will give you a bonus of up to $250 when you sign up and wager on the same day and use the promo code GlennClark23, GLENNCLARK23. So bet with the best and use the promo code GlennClark23 this football season with Superbook Sports. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
6 chicken tenders made from fresh, never frozen Royal Farms world-famous chicken, a family-sized order of Western fries, honey mustard dipping sauce, and a 2-liter bottle of Dr. Pepper. It's Royal Farms' new Tucker's Tenders Meal. It's Justin Tucker's favorite, and at only $19.99, it'll be your favorite meal, too. The new Tucker's Tenders Meal, available only at Royal Farms. Now you can kick back, relax, and eat like a champion. Real fresh, real fast, Royal Farms.
The Toyota Tacoma comes in a range of models and trim lines, so you can choose the perfect Tacoma to reflect your unique personality and driving habits. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Tacomas from your local Toyota dealer today.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Jeremy Kahn here. The ultimate sports betting experience in Maryland is at the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbook. Join me at either location in Canton or in Towson and place your bets in person and be a part of the action. It's the best in-class sports wagering experience, complete with the ultimate TV package, ensuring you can catch every game all day, every day. Their state-of-the-art facilities bring Las Vegas energy right here to Maryland just in time for postseason football. So visit the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbook in Canton and Towson and elevate your game day experience and hang out with me to bet, watch, and win at the Turtle.
What company has the expertise to make your home healthier by purifying your air and killing all viruses, allergens, and bacteria? A.J. Michaels, Heating and Air Conditioning in Baltimore and Annapolis, ajmichaels.com.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
Yeah, that's the voice of Drew Forrester, and here he is. He managed to make it in this morning.
Let's talk some sports.
Why would we start doing that? What do you have to add about sports?
Yeah.
All right, that's what I thought. Griffin, tell everybody what's going on in the Green Turtle tomorrow.
Green Turtle on Thursdays. They have a sports book now, if you didn't know. And in Towson and Canton, every Thursday they are offering you a free $10 bet on whatever you would like. You can experience the ultimate destination for game day excitement, great food, and live in-person betting. So be sure to check out the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbooks in Towson and Canton. Pick up your free $10 bet and make some money while enjoying some food and sports tomorrow night at the Green Turtle.
All right. So what's going on in your world?
Not a whole lot.
What's got you all hot and bothered today?
I'm trying to think of it. I probably have no value. I've got
Please cut that clip. Please have that available to me at all times.
I'm probably
it's the truest thing that's ever. I've been waiting for this moment.
For all my life.
Truly words.
Yeah,
truly never
probably
spoken.
of no value at all.
I don't even know what you would be worked up about. I have no idea what's happening.
I'm trying to think of is there anything at all
I did go to your
I'm
website
agitated
the other day.
about, or like.
Were you worked up about the ticket prices for the Ravens?
0. No, of course they're going up. Everything goes up.
I do always wonder where the bubble bursts, right? Like, I don't.
It doesn't.
You say that. It has to at some point. It does. It has to.
It doesn't.
It has to.
My dad said when George Foster became the first player to make $1 million.
What?
Baseball's over.
But no, I'm not. And I'm not.
No, I'm just saying, like, that when we put these limits on it, when George Foster made $1 million, my dad said, well, that's the end of baseball.
Right, okay, but I understand that's absurd. And no one's saying that it's the end of football.
Hey, don't you call my dad absurd?
Well, I'm sure he was a wonderful man, but that was an absurd take.
No, it wasn't. Not in 1978, it wasn't.
I understand that.
Now, $1 million now, nobody cares.
Right, $1 million per at bat.
Right.
Right. That's the way
but
that
no,
works.
I mean, I just there is no limit. You can say there's going to be.
No,
there isn't.
There's going to, at some point, there is a number at
the economy's going to be booming next November. When
that's when everything gets fixed. Yeah, on day one.
When things change.
Yeah.
You know it.
That's the way it's going to work, huh?
We're going to have so much money to spend.
Yeah, right? We're going to say, please, Mr. President, stop with all this money. That's the way it's going to go.
Right. There is no limit.
You keep saying that.
Now you know what you're doing? You're talking like a 40-year-old, which I like. He'll pay $250 to go see the game.
But that's what it's.
That's where his people are.
I don't think $250 is the limit. I don't know what the limit is. I'm not saying that they're approaching the limit. I say at some point we're going to recognize
you'll be long gone by then.
You say that.
I'm just telling you. But raising the ticket.
I work out. I go to the gym.
Yeah, right. Raising the ticket prices. You know they're going up.
I understand that. I'm having two separate conversations.
Okay.
I knew the ticket prices were going up. And again, I'm already priced out. Like,
I am too.
I'm already past for me.
I would not have.
But as I said before, I don't know what the price would be that would get me to go to a game. I don't know that there is a price.
Concerts have done this a little. I mean, when we think about it.
100% concerts.
Like, I had an opportunity, and now I mean, I probably have told you this before. It's
Right.
not like I'm not giving you a secret. I had an opportunity to go to the Springsteen show in New York City,
Right.
the Broadway show.
Mm-hmm.
The guy said, I've got 2 tickets. You can have them. All I'm asking is that you pay me what I paid for them. I'll
Right,
show you
face
the
value,
receipt.
yeah.
They were $750 a piece. I'm like, I'm not going up there for $750.
Right. You've seen Springsteen 750
I've
times.
seen him. It's not even that. I mean, I've seen him 28 times, but it's not
I
that.
got to be honest with you. I can't believe it's only 28. I can't believe that.
But it's not that. It's that I'm not paying $750. Period.
So in general, I agree with that. How much did you pay for the AFC Championship game?
What were they? 500?
Okay.
Is that right?
All right.
500?
I thought it was more than that. I thought it was.
I think it was in that range.
So you just ripped off my wife? That's what you did?
No. That they had the party and all that stuff. I'm saying, I think the tickets were $500. I don't remember, but that was
an event. I understand.
Well, no, but that also was just about the limit for me. Like I'm not spending $1,000 or $1,500 to go to a football game.
So I spent beyond my limit. I think I've told you I've never seen the Rolling Stones before. Right. So this is probably it for the Rolling Stones. And I said I'm going to spend. I realize it's going to cost a lot of money. I'm going to do that because I've never seen the Rolling Stones. This is my one time doing it. But I set a limit, and I said I'm not spending more. $500 is the hard limit. That's it.
Okay.
That's what I'm spending. And then my buddy who had access
and
to
you spent $800.
My buddy said, "Well, if you want to sit in the upper deck, you're in luck. You can." And I'm like, if I'm going to go, I'm not going to go.
I'm the same way. I'm not going to go sit in the upper deck.
Right. It's not going to happen.
I'm going to spend $900 and sit down low and enjoy the show, or I'm not going.
Correct. So it was more like $675, and I was able to get tickets down low. And I said, fine, that's it, because it's an event. It's not going to a concert for
Understood.
me. It's a one-time. I've never done this before. I'm going to choose to do it. And that's going to be it. But now it means that like all these other shows that are coming up this summer, I'm like,
well, the Masters is pretty much like the Masters is of all of the things that I've either done or could still do. Like the Masters is the one thing I do say to people, if you've never been.
Right.
Now, here's the example. When I was first getting into the trip business, I was spending roughly $450 a ticket. Between $450 and $550 a ticket for the Masters, depending on which day of the Monday, Tuesday, which day of the practice round, because they have different value.
Mm-hmm.
Monday, some of the players aren't there. Tuesday, everyone's there. Wednesday, it's the par 3 tournament. So they have different value. Monday, I'll just make it up. Monday is a $400 ticket. Tuesday's a $550 ticket. Wednesday's a $750 ticket. I was routinely getting $450 and $500 tickets. That was a steal. Now, the face value of those tickets was $75, but forget that. You don't have the face value ticket. If you did, you'd use it.
Mm-hmm.
So then, as the years went on, that ticket went from $500 to $600, and people are still like, "Yep, $600. That's a great deal. Gotcha." Then it was $700. Then it was $800. Now, today, if you go right now and look at any of the secondary markets, and I wasn't getting mine on the secondary market, I was getting mine between the original guy and the secondary market. But those tickets are still now $1,500. $1,500 right now to get in. Right now.
Just and for any particular day?
And the price of the ticket's $100.
Right.
No, for Monday.
So not even to watch the Masters, just to
the practice
be
round.
on the ground.
But by the way, that's the only time to go, in my opinion.
That's fine.
Going during the tournament is dumb.
You
to
say,
me.
except for you're attending the Masters.
To me, but you're still attending the Masters. You're just seeing a practice
You're
round.
not. That's not the Masters. That's you're on the grounds.
Trust me.
You're
you
a golf fan.
You don't know
and
what you're talking about, right?
But you're saying two different things. You're talking about as a golf fan, that's what you want to do. I'm saying as somebody who would want to go to an event.
Well, now it's $4,000.
Right. What I'm saying is for someone who wants to go to an event that's not a golf, that just says this is on my list.
Right.
Monday is not going to the event for that person.
Okay, well you're wrong
a
about
golf
that.
fan.
Most people are going there to see the golf
You're
course.
saying that as a golf fan.
No, I'm not.
You are.
I'm not.
People that don't give a rat's ass about golf, that just say, I want to experience the event.
But you would spend $4,000 for that?
There are people that are doing it, Drew.
Well, they're crazy.
I agree.
I'll go there, turn it into the waste management. And,
Yeah.
But
so
but now it's $1,500, and I still say to people now, "Have you been? Nope, I've never been. You love golf, don't you? Oh, I love it. You got to go. Yeah, but it's $1,500. I don't care. You got to go. You got to go one time. And if you go this year at $1,500, the good news is you don't have to buy a ticket in 2029 when it's $2,000 because it's going to continue to go up, right? So go now. Go get it done now. And it's just the prices go up. But there is, to your point, there is a point when it's just and it doesn't make any more sense.
And that's the question becomes.
But it's different for regular season football. So this goes back to your issue. This is different. If you said to me right now, "Hey, I got tickets to go see ELO tomorrow night up at up in Camden, New Jersey. Do you want to go?" I am in.
Right.
I am going. How much is it? And if you said to me, "I got great seats. They're $300 a piece." I'm in. Let's go. And we went.
But to go see the Ravens play the Browns.
Well, no, wait a minute. Then 2 weeks later, you call me and you go, "Hey, did you know ELO is in Richmond?"
Right.
I would say, "No, I didn't know that." You would go, "Yeah, you want to go see him again?" I would say, "Yeah, maybe. Where are the tickets?" "Well, these are $450. No, I'm good. I'm not going for $450. I might go for, if you said to me, "I got 2 tickets. Do you want to drive down there and get dinner and we'll go watch them again and they're free?" I would say, "Yeah, I'll go." Then if you called me 2 weeks later and you said, "They're in Philly tonight. Do you want to go?" I would be like, "I've seen them twice." And I think football tickets are the same thing. You're seeing the same thing except the teams are different. But you're still going to see the Ravens play the Browns, Ravens play the Texans, Ravens play the Steelers, Ravens play the Bengals, and eventually and people are doing this now. Eventually you say, I just don't know if I want to keep doing that for $300.
I think the question, and it's an interesting one, I think there's a question of at what point are you taking out the casual football would say, we don't need any more. Like, we've got such a market cap. We have such a sizable percentage of the market that we don't need any more people to become football fans. At what point is it preventative for someone who isn't already a football fan to try their hand at experiencing an NFL game day? Because the price alone says to them, I'm never going to do it. For example, there are plenty of bands that I might become a fan of if I were able to go see them live. There have been plenty of Robert Randolph became a friend of mine. I would have never been a Robert Randolph fan had one day he not been opening for the Dave Matthews Band in Philadelphia, and I was up there and said, what is this? Like, this guy's better than the other ones.
Right.
Like, I wonder at what point, even if you can get that amount of money, even if you said, hey, our value is this because we can get that. We have a fan base that is so invested, so rabid, that they'll pay it, and we're good. But at what point does it become preventative for creating a greater fan base, a larger group of people that are interested in the product, because they'll never jump in at that price?
See, I think you're, and this does go to, like, his generation. Like, I just think that there's always going to be, to him, $250 isn't a big deal.
I don't think that's true either, by the way.
I don't know about that.
I don't think that's true.
I see some bar bills some weeks from people at Eagles Nest. I'm like,
yeah, I understand.
The last time the UFC event I went to last year, that was $250.
Right.
That's like the last. That
And
might be the only thing I can think of that I spent $250 on.
Right.
Well, I mean, plane tickets, I guess, obviously, but
I'm not.
But that's different. It's a one-off thing. We're talking about you shelling out $250 a game to see the Ravens play 10 times or 9 times or whatever it is. And then next year it's going to be $290. Or in 2 years it might be $290. And then 2 years after that it's going to be $320. And the tickets are just going to keep going up. But his salary, and insert joke here, his salary is also going to keep going up.
Right.
He's also going to go get a better job.
Right, but
he's also going to have more discretionary
better job.
I know. He's also going to have more discretionary income. Like, I think this is far more of an economic discussion. You're trying to make it into I don't even know. You're trying to make it into a sports discussion.
I think it's beyond
and
sports.
I do think it's
an economic discussion, and I do think the question
there's more money around.
There
is.
There's not really more money.
Yeah, there.
Well, then why do we need this other guy?
Right.
If there's so much money around,
there is a lot of money around.
There maybe, right? Like, maybe somebody can explain that to me a little bit deeper. Everything costs more, so there's no real explanation as to why there would be more money
I've done
around.
this fairly recently.
Mm-hmm.
If you chronicled what you spend your money on, you wouldn't
I
believe it.
I understand.
Right. It's
Like,
crazy.
I understand all of that.
Right. It's crazy. It's different for me because, well, you do too. I got kids in private school. And so when I write 3 mortgage I own 3 houses.
Mm-hmm.
2 of them just happen to go to private schools.
Right.
I own 3
That's
houses,
your,
though.
That's
Right.
your call.
No. I'm saying,
Yeah.
like, when Lucy just got admitted to a local school, and my wife's like, how are we going to afford all this? I said, we're already broke.
Yeah,
We can't-
what matters?
we can't
right?
get any more
and by the
broke.
way, I feel a lot of that.
Right.
I do.
We
feel,
can't get any more broke than we are. It's okay.
I feel a good bit of that, but I also feel the thing. I'm telling you that within music, and I get it. It is different at 40. I don't disagree with that, but there is a cutoff. Part of the reason why I'd never seen the Rolling Stones before is because when I was his age, asking me to pay $100 for a ticket was not going to happen. I wasn't going to do that. I was going to go see a band that I like at the Auto Bar for $15 instead of paying $100 for a ticket to anything at that age. Now, again, the Rolling Stones were fine. They clearly didn't need more.
This was in 2002.
And now there's not
You
a
didn't have
$100
any
ticket.
money.
And now there's not a $100 ticket available. I'm telling you that the same thing works today for him, where he looks and says, I'll never spend $500 for a ticket to anything. There's some way that I can better spend my money than doing that. I'm not going to spend that amount of money on
I think
anything.
you're wrong. I do. I just think I think people are there is no they're never going tickets are never going down and people are still buying them.
There's a different conversation between tickets are never going down.
I know, but people are still buying
because
them.
there's always a percentage of people that's willing to buy them. I'm saying is the greater totality of building up a percentage of getting at least a piece of the cap. Is that going down? Is there a smaller likelihood that you can build a greater percentage of people that have a marginal interest because now you have to have all of the people that are willing to spend a certain amount of money?
I don't know
there
what
are better economic terms for it. I have no doubt.
I don't know what you just asked, but here's my solution.
Right.
Here's my summary. Whatever your position.
Yeah,
whatever your
you're
position
taking the
is.
other one.
No, I'm being serious.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're trying to say, but whatever it is, I'm on the opposite end of it.
Right.
Not because I want to be.
Right.
I don't understand what you're trying to say. It's like Kevin Hart said
Yes.
in 4-year-old version. You're using these big words, and
Right.
I'm going to take them as disrespect.
I might even be using the wrong terms. That's the problem. I don't know what the actual terms are here because we're talking about economics, and
You're using big
Lord
words on
knows
me.
this
I'm
is
gonna-
not my
I'm gonna
world.
take them as disrespect.
I'm saying that you have a narrow. It's not even narrow. You have a certain percentage of people. Let's say that just for fun. Let's say that
do math on me.
Let's say that
'cause I'm in trouble.
40%
Okay, 40%
of this market is willing to spend whatever the money ends up. I don't care what the price is. I'm going to be there to watch the Baltimore Ravens. Right?
Okay.
I'm saying that this other 60% of fans that exist, at a smaller number, there's more likely to become a casual fan. So instead of saying that 40% of the market loves the Baltimore Ravens, you have the opportunity to grow that cap and make it so that, today, 2% more. They go discover what a game is like. They go discover whatever event it is.
And how are you saying that they become part of that group? By the tickets being lower?
By them going to touch it, feel it, experience it, and saying, I love this. This is amazing. I want to be a part of
And
that.
I think the Ravens would say to you
that we're good with the 40% we have.
No. The Ravens would say that when we do what we do, which is pay Lamar, pay Matabikwe, do this, do that, sign these guys, win games, we could charge $500 and that it's going to go from 40 to 45%.
Yeah.
That's what the Ravens say.
That's what the Ravens would say. But
that's what they would say.
Okay. Look, man, this is
now
not
you're
gonna
arguing with the Ravens and not me. I love it.
But it's not just the Ravens. The Ravens are an example. It could be anything. I'm telling you, there are certain. Somebody would tell me. I'm trying to think of a good example. Pull up Merriweather's schedule this summer, Griffin.
It's right there in the thing.
No, it's a QR code.
Yeah, pull that up and print it for me because I need to see it.
And pull up because I'm going to go to a bunch of shows at Merriweather this summer. I will because
I did see the schedule.
I do. I go every summer. I'll go see.
I want to go see the OAR show with you.
Okay.
Can we get backstage?
Probably.
I want to give a high five to the singer.
Mark. I don't know Mark well. I know Jerry is my friend.
Well, but
to pull up, just
they're OAR. It's not like
I
we want to see.
Settle down. Read off some shows.
Alanis
at
Morissette.
Okay,
on my birthday.
I could be interested in that.
I love Alanis Morissette. I saw her.
And Joan Jett.
I saw her with Garbage 3 summers ago. It was wonderful. Right? Absolutely wonderful. but I've seen her before, so this is a good example. Read me
Berta Kreischer's comedy
tour. Yeah, it's not
No,
the one.
no.
Not the one.
Maggie Rogers.
I love Maggie Rogers. She's great. I've actually never seen Maggie Rogers before, but I already know that I like her, so it's probably a bad example.
Brooks and Dunn.
I'm gonna go to
No
that
thanks.
show with my wife. That's the thing that's
Pixies.
gonna happen.
God, what a wimp you are.
Pixies and Modest Mouse.
Settle that. I'm sure you've never gone anything that your wife wanted to go
I went to the Lilith fair.
Yeah.
Third
Exactly.
Eye
It was-
Blind.
Well, I bet it was great, actually.
It was me. Well, I don't even want to get into it. But there were 14 people there like me.
And you were like,
And there were-
you were like, wow, I don't even have
and
the
there-
hairiest armpits here.
And there were 8,000 other people sort of like me.
Yeah.
And then there were 8,000 women.
Exactly.
Mount Joy.
I'm gonna go to the Mount Joy
Nah,
show for sure.
I
I
love
love
overrated.
it.
OAR
Settle down
and
over there.
Fits in the Tantrum.
Right. Keep
Oh,
going.
when is that? What's that date?
That is July 27th, a Saturday.
I don't know if I can do that.
That's too bad. All right.
No, I think I can.
All right. Well, we'll see.
I want to meet the lead singer.
Hootie and the Blowfish.
No thanks.
Probably
Used to be good 50
probably
years
go to that.
ago.
Ooh.
50. Keep going.
Dirk Bentley and Chase Wright.
Yeah,
No
it's
thanks.
not gonna be for me.
I don't know.
Not gonna be for
Can
me.
I take
Awful.
tickets for that one then?
I don't have tickets.
Well, it sounded like you were getting one.
No,
just
I'm
every
not getting
week.
comp tickets.
Awful. Go ahead.
No.
30 Seconds to Mars.
Terrible.
I like 30 Seconds to Mars enough.
Terrible.
New Kids on the Block.
No.
Oh.
With
no,
Paula Abdul.
They were good 73 years ago. Paula Abdul.
Okay, come on. There's got to
Come
be a better
on.
example of this.
All
that I'm
Time
not-
Low.
I love All Time Low.
Yeah.
Keep
Mitski.
reading.
Overrated.
Okay, so there's an example of something.
Who?
Mitski. I don't know what Mitski is.
Mitski's going to be there 3 days in a row.
Mitski is so significant that Mitski is playing 3 shows at Merriweather this summer. 3 shows. They might all be sold out at this point.
So the first 2 are, yeah.
'Kay.
Sunday, if you want to see Mitski, you can only go Sunday.
What is the ticket price?
It says 45 to 125 for Sunday.
Okay, so it's not outrageous. Yeah. This is a bad. It ends up being a bad example.
Mitsuki
Should I hit the
Miyawaka.
sounder thing?
What?
known professionally.
What's
Is this
sounder?
the segment?
Oh no, this
That's
isn't that.
that's
No,
not
no,
it.
it's not. that.
Mitsuki Miyawaka, known professionally as Mitski, is an American singer and songwriter. She self-released her first 2 albums, Lush and Retired from Sad, New Career, in...
Yeah. Okay. All right. Just settle for a second because I'm gonna try to make the point.
How much are those tickets?
Yeah. Oh, you're all in. You're excited about Mitski.
45 to 125.
You can go sit on the
give me
lawn for
2 of the
45 bucks.
125.
Yeah. Here.
How close can we get?
Let me see. I don't know what I'm looking at.
She's a very attractive young Asian.
She seems lovely. I don't know what she does. I couldn't tell you what
I
her.
don't think she does music.
Fine, but what kind of music?
Let's just see more about her.
I
She
don't
was,
know. I genuinely don't
she's
know.
a Japanese.
Let me make my point with Mitski. All right. Let's say, given there's clearly quite
be
a demand.
careful what you say about her. By the way.
Settle down. There's clearly.
Fine young. Oh, personal life.
There's
Hold on.
would you stop for a second? I'm trying to make a point here. You're about to be what's wrong with this country.
Half Japanese, half American.
Okay, so let's say, given all of the demand, because there's clearly extraordinary demand for Mitski's services, she's sold out 2 nights at Merriweather and is on her way to selling out a 3rd. This is not a small venue. So let's say that instead of playing 3 nights at Merriweather, they had decided that they just wanted to charge an extraordinary amount of money for 1 night. Hey, let's do less work and make more money. So let's say that instead of ticket prices being $45 to $125, the ticket prices were instead something like
$400.
Exactly right. Now me, someone who's never heard of Mitski, but everyone's talking about how great Mitski is, I might say to myself, well, maybe I should go experience this. But at $400, it's never going to happen.
Right.
Never. If you told me, hey, you can go for $40 and sit on the lawn, the way that I once went to see the Killers on the lawn for $20 or whatever it was.
That guy can sing.
Yeah, no question about it. If you told me that was the case, maybe I'd say, all right, well, if everybody likes this thing, it's worth checking out. But I never will.
Okay.
I'll never pay that amount of money. There is a limit for me to discover something that I don't know that I already love.
Okay. You're all you're trying to do now. By the way, my opinion of her is diminished a little because she's kind of weird. She's a vegan. She likes horror films, and she has 2 pet
You
cats.
listen
horror
to
films.
you like Morrissey.
But wait a minute. She's a vegan. She likes horror films, and she has 2 pet cats. That's how she describes herself.
You
She's
like Morrissey.
She's a weirdo. All right. All you're trying to do now is win, right? You're trying to win your argument. You make your point. The people you're talking about with the Ravens, they already know what the Ravens are. They know what the
but
Ravens are.
they might not have experienced a live football game. They know they exist. I know that Mitski exists.
Well, I never until just now.
Well, I know now that Mitski is
She's
a thing.
Fine-looking.
She appears to be. What does she do? I don't know.
She's a singer.
What kind? Does she do country music? Is she a rapper?
Put her music on.
I don't think we can. We get kicked off of all of our.
What are we doing? Getting shut down?
Yes.
Put it on for 6.
No, we get dinged. We can't do that.
I'll do it.
Do it in the background. That's fine.
Right,
I don't know what Mitski is.
We're gonna listen to one of her hits right here.
One of her hits, smash hits.
Is it gonna be what? My Love Is All Mine.
And you guys thought Letterman was
My
good.
Love, Mine, All Mine.
What is that? This is a song
I
of
got it.
Mitski's.
Oh, we can't play it. We're not allowed. I'm gonna play it, and that way I can get in trouble. I'll lose my $500. All right, here we go.
Your Mitski ticket. You'll lose your.
Mitski. Oh, My Love, Mine, All Mine. Is that the?
That's her top song on Spotify.
It's not there. It's a her. It's she.
Well, you don't know that. What if she prefers to go by they?
All right, here we go. No, wait.
A lot of people do that.
Friggin' ad. This is what's wrong with the country.
Right,
Yeah, you can't do anything.
All right, here we go.
without
Here we go.
ads.
Shh.
This is what we accomplished on the show today.
A little slow.
It's haunting.
No, it's
To be 3 shows.
Sounds a little Billie Eilish-ish.
it's awful.
This doesn't do a thing for me.
She's done.
She's done.
Who's
She's
paying-
sold out 3 nights at Merriweather.
Who's paying to see
A lot of people,
some
clearly.
cross
Drew,
between
she's got a song about your life. I bet on losing dogs.
Dolores? It's a cross between Dolores O'Riordan and the girl was the singer for the Sundays.
Oh, I like them. I
That
like
girl
them.
can sing.
Yeah, that girl could sing.
What was that
There's
girl's
no
name?
doubt.
Harriet? Harriet
I don't
Wheeler,
remember.
right?
That sounds familiar, but I don't remember that.
Yeah.
That girl could sing.
Hold on.
I don't think we accomplished anything here. Who's this?
This is I bet on losing dogs.
It's
This is more Mitski.
yeah.
this is like Bjork.
What?
It's
Where?
awful.
Where did it
Bjork.
come from? Like, where? How did Mitski become
I don't know.
so?
She's
Harriet
top-
Wheeler.
Is it a
on
TikTok?
Spotify. She's
By the way,
top
Harriet
80
Wheeler.
in the world.
Is it a TikTok?
Top 80 in the
thing?
world.
Is it
That's
a-
what's wrong with this country. She's 60, by the way, this girl, Harriet Wheeler.
But
Mitski's 33.
all right, I don't know what just happened here. It definitely wasn't a
Can't find,
worthwhile
like,
segment.
A feature article
I think
on
that
Mitski.
there.
I love Harriet Wheeler.
I think that at some point there is something, even if you say it's market value, even if you say it's what you can get, I do think that at some point it ends up hurting you in terms of being able to grow.
Just stop
have
whining
people
and buy
touch
the
it.
tickets.
I'm not going to.
She
That's
helped
not
write
going to
music
happen.
for the Queen's Gambit musical last year.
Who's
apparently.
this?
Mitski.
There's a Queen's Gambit musical?
Apparently.
I hadn't heard of that either.
Let's see,
I mean, if
pitchfork right here.
look, man, I get I'm old. I understand that, but you just want to listen to Sundays. I'm down with that. I do
This
love
girl
the
could
Sundays.
sing.
This song is so good. All right. Anyway, hour number 1's in the books. We did nothing. We accomplished nothing.
Some hour.
We talked
I was only here. I only ruined 25 minutes of it.
I can't put it all on you. You're right. Actually, Bordick was good. So, there were
Wow,
moments.
that's possible.
What is your deal? You wanna do what's wrong with the country next?
Sure.
You got something locked and loaded.
I think I do.
It took us 4 weeks for him
I
to
think I
stop
got something,
preparing.
too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Griffin thinks he wants to jump in. Oh, I'm gonna let him go first. Hour number 1 was also brought to you by Ruth's Chris. Whether you're celebrating a special milestone, entertaining clients, or simply enjoying a night out, count on Ruth's Chris to deliver to you the finest steaks, the best service, and a level of hospitality that has made Ruth's Chris one of the most revered names in steaks since 1965. Make your reservation now, ruthschris.com. Drew's here. It's a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio.
Hey, it's Jeremy Kahn. This postseason, bet in person at the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbooks with locations in Canton and in Towson, and enjoy the best in-class sports wagering experience at their state-of-the-art facilities, bringing an unmatched sports betting thrill.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Discover your next favorite beer crafted in the heart of Charm City. At Guilford Hall Brewery, we believe beer should be flavorful and easy to enjoy. Our meticulously crafted lagers and ales are derived from centuries-old European brewing traditions, a staple for both the seasoned beer aficionado or a novice hophead. Experience beer styles that dare to showcase the exceptionality of simplicity. Visit our restaurant and brewery at 1611 Guilford Avenue or view our menu and tap map online at guilfordhall.com. Guilford Hall Brewery, European tradition, Baltimore charm.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
6 chicken tenders made from fresh, never frozen Royal Farms world-famous chicken, a family-sized order of Western fries, honey mustard dipping sauce, and a 2-liter bottle of Dr. Pepper. It's Royal Farms' new Tucker's Tenders Meal. It's Justin Tucker's favorite, and at only $19.99, it'll be your favorite meal too. The new Tucker's Tenders Meal, available only at Royal Farms. Now you can kick back, relax, and eat like a champion. Real fresh, real fast, Royal Farms.
Craving that classic New York deli experience? Look no further than the new Atman's Deli in Baltimore's Harbor Point. Corned beef piled high, hand-rolled bagels, and something different. A bar! Atman's has food and drink specials every day. Now open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Dine in, grab takeout, or hang out at the bar for the next O's game. Atman's Deli, an authentic taste of Baltimore tradition since 1915. Find us at Harbor Point or visit atmansdeli.com.
What company has the expertise to make your home healthier by purifying your air and killing all viruses, allergens, and bacteria? A.J. Michaels, Heating and Air Conditioning in Baltimore and Annapolis. AJMichaels.com.
Hungry? With 7 locations throughout Maryland, Glory Days Grill is always right around the corner. They have wings, burgers, salads, sandwiches, and drinks to satisfy everyone, as well as tons of televisions and sound delivered right to your phone. Glory Days is the best place to watch football or whatever your favorite sport is. While you're there, be sure to check out Goose Flights Lager, named in honor of legendary Raven Tony Goose Siragusa. $2 of every can is donated to the Goose Flights Foundation. Glory Days Grill. Great food, good sports.
One of the things that's definitely wrong with this country is that this dude still has a job somehow, some way. Glenn Clark.
All right, back in here on GCR. Drew Forrester is here. Later on this hour, we'll talk some NFL draft, the fallout from the Combine. Our buddy Eric Edholm from NFL.com will check in with us. We'll also play Would You Rather Wednesday. But before we do any of that...
Don't you see something every day and you say to yourself, this is the problem with this place? Yeah, this is what's wrong with the country. What's wrong with the country is we're not willing to talk about what's wrong with the country.
It is. That's what's wrong with the country. And it's brought to you by Goose Flights Lager, which is available all over town. Cans available at your at your neighborhood Glory Days Grill. Also available at Alonzo's on Cold Spring Lane and at the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbook in Canton. Cans also available along with 6-packs at Guilford Hall Brewery in Station North and the Costas Inn in Dundalk. 6-packs and cases available at the Wine Source in Hamden. Goose Flights is a delicious lager. It goes to a great cause. $1.98 from every can sold goes to benefit the Goose Flights Foundation, the work they're doing to provide non-emergency medical transport for those in need. Find out more at PressBoxOnline.com/GooseFlights. You want to let Griffin have the first crack at it? He wants to participate for the first time.
Yeah. I'm anxious to hear what this ought to be good.
So the Sun Belt Conference tournament's going on. And
you think I don't know
round,
that?
Yeah, I just want to make sure. Well, I just want to make sure everybody else tuning in. I know you know.
Yes,
obviously. Texas State, Old Dominion. Been a tough season for ODU. But
Sun Belt Tournament is not. They play it somewhere.
Yes, yeah. They were in Pensacola.
There's got to be like 6 people.
For this game, yeah, there weren't a ton of people at this one.
Why would you not just play that on home courts? I don't get it.
I don't know.
You're playing it very
Jersey
early.
Mike's has their logo on the court here.
Go ahead.
So it was a great game. ODU was actually leading for a while. Texas State battled back.
The Fighting Mike Joneses.
That's right. Now they were trying to put on try to get a big win.
He's not actually coaching the team.
But I think he was there. But yeah. So the game is tied. Texas State has a chance. I guess I'll just play the ending in a second here.
Go ahead. So the setup is it's tie game late.
Tie game, 74-74.
Texas State, the Bobcats, I believe, have the ball with a chance to go ahead. They fail.
They fail. They miss. And the clock on the screen, this is just one of the problems that happens that I'm not that much worked up about.
Well, let's just listen. Why don't we just listen? This is courtesy of ESPN 3 Plus, ESPN Plus. This is what it sounded like at the end of the game, as sounded like one of the more dramatic. If you can play the video, it's incredible. I mean, you can get more volume on that, or. Okay.
What happened?
So yeah, unfortunately the audio is not good either.
The audio was
I tell you what's wrong with the country is that we didn't look to see if the audio worked or not. All right, so a couple of things here. I'll do the setup, then you can rant. All right. The setup is Texas State misses their shot. Old Dominion gets the ball back. Clock. If you're watching the broadcast,
5 seconds differential.
If you're watching the broadcast, you see there's 10 seconds left, and then this kid just hoists a half-court shot. You're like, what the hell are you doing, guy? And it goes in. It goes in with like 7 seconds left on the clock.
I think there would have been like 1 or 2 seconds.
No, there was still more time than that. On the game clock, on the shot clock that you saw, there was more time. It was
like 5 or 6 seconds differential. It was
so insane shot to take. But wow, holy crap! It went in. You're up by 3. Now all you got to do is defend these last 5 seconds. But wait a second, why did the red light go off?
Right. Yes.
At the basket. Why? There's like 5 seconds left. Why would the red light go off?
So what's wrong with the country?
The clock on the broadcast was nowhere close to the actual game clock.
Okay.
Nowhere close. Legitimate 6-second difference, at least, between the clock in the arena and the clock on the broadcast.
Okay.
So the kid was right to take. In fact,
yes,
he didn't get it off in time.
Okay. So what's wrong with the country?
Go ahead.
The broadcasters have no idea what's going on because they are not on location. They are not on site for this is a conference tournament in neutral site. So this is a big enough deal that they are renting out this arena for essentially the week because the men's and women's tournament in the Sun Belt are playing at Pensacola.
This is part of what's wrong with the country.
And the broadcasters are not on site, so they have no idea what's happening. They're as confused as you are. Why did this kid shoot with 7 seconds
left?
And
as you heard on that call, they think, well, there's going to be time left now for Texas State to go back and try to tie the game because they have no idea. None.
Because they're not there.
What's happening in the game?
2024.
Because they're sitting either in a studio somewhere or in their underpants at their own home. I can do this for you.
Go for it. I couldn't believe.
As I've talked about this before, I've had to do remote broadcasts before. I have no idea. When everybody was making fun of Melanie and Scott Garceau during the COVID year, I was getting look, I don't know what you think about them otherwise, but you have no earthly idea how impossible this job is. No clue.
That's why Palmer made fun of him 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, for trying to do the game from Baltimore.
That's why Palmer came right out and just said to Brian Roberts, how's the weather down there?
Yeah, it's absolutely
we're cold up here. How are you guys?
Bat-ass.
It's the dumbest thing in the world.
Bat-ass insane. This is, by the way, there's so many layers to this.
Don't even put the games on.
There's a bit to be said for that.
Sure.
It's they would say, well, we can do it for cheaper. And as I've said a billion times, it's hilarious at this level. No Griffin could call this game. And that's no disrespect for you. I hire you to call games. I think you're capable. Let's settle down. This is an ESPN Plus broadcast of a low-level college basketball tournament.
Well, it's not low-level. One of those teams is getting in the NCAA tournament.
I understand. Well, not one of these two teams. But it's an early-round game.
If they were to win.
Sure.
Don't dismiss Old Dominion.
There is someone who lives
don't dismiss Texas State.
There's someone who lives in Pensacola that is capable of doing an ESPN Plus level broadcast.
Why are they in Pensacola? What school's there?
I don't even know.
Who all is in the Sun Belt?
Why would
I
you
don't
be in
even remember.
Pensacola?
I have no clue. I couldn't tell
That's
you.
what's wrong with this country.
Well, I don't know if it's what's wrong with this country. Someone lives there that is capable
Sure.
of doing this. Someone. You don't have to fly.
Give them $150 and tell them to.
You don't have to fly someone in from Kalamazoo to call the game. Just hire someone that lives there.
There are no Sunbelt schools in Florida.
Yeah, what?
And they just did a deal with the Pensacola, whatever, community
convention center,
college.
right.
Yeah, whatever it is. Just hire someone that lives there. Have them call the game. You don't ever need to do a remote broadcast of anything. You don't need to fly. You can't. We got to get all these flights and these hotels. No, there are broadcast-capable people that live in every market. Every single one. There is someone who is capable of doing this level of a broadcast. Someone. Hire them. Have them on site. But it goes a step beyond everything. I'm telling you, and I have a partner that I love. But when I call games with them, they put me inside. I'm on location. I can't see the playing surface. I'm there in another room.
Yeah, that's insane.
There.
Yeah, right.
On site.
Right.
Because in their world, well, hey, when we set this all up, it was just easier to do it this way. Because there's no
You're watching
thought
it
of
on a monitor?
I'm watching it on a monitor on site. I'm there.
Man, you must need $150
Calling
bad.
the game. It's more than $150.
Okay.
Yeah.
You must need it bad.
I mean,
I get it.
It's a good partner.
Yeah.
It's a good partner. By the way, I've had multiple partners. I'll tell you a
Easy.
school,
Take it easy now.
All right. I'll tell you a school that hired me last year that had me broadcast a game from the women's volleyball locker room when the game was being played on the lacrosse field. I sat in their women's volleyball locker room.
By yourself?
Nobody was in there.
Okay, I was going to say, that might not be a bad idea.
Broadcast a game that was happening on campus. I had to go to the campus to broadcast a game. Because in their world, we got to hook up a few more wires, and it's insanity.
Yeah. Now, how is that what's wrong with the country?
Everybody's taking the easy way out.
Okay.
Everybody takes the easy way out.
Okay.
I'll handle that for Griffin.
Okay.
It's the easiest.
Well, that might dovetail into what I have. I could dovetail.
By the way, this was a good one, Griffin.
Thank you.
This is part of what's wrong with the country. We do always take the easy way out.
That's
There's
actually
hey, we got to put a little more work into this, a little more effort in order to make this right. Nope. Let's just do it at the lowest level possible in order to make it passable.
Okay. So so I'm going to sort of connect with that. I was asked, what's today? Wednesday? Monday, I was asked to be part of a forum, I guess if you would call it, I don't want to publicize, but I was asked to be part of a forum for a National Junior Golf Foundation.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a Zoom call.
I really hope they introduced you this way. Also with us on the call, he finished 137th in the 2022 U.S. Senior Open, Drew Forrester.
2021.
Sorry.
Yeah. Would have finished 138th if I wouldn't have made that 7-footer at the
Hell yeah.
last hole. And so I was asked to be part of this forum. And in these breakout rooms, they assigned, the whole thing was 2 hours with a break, 220 with a kind of a 20-minute break in between. It was a Zoom conference, which is fine. I would not have wanted to fly. Well, maybe I would have. I would not have wanted to fly to Orlando to do this. But it, for the purposes of what I got out of it and blah, 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 it was good to do 2 hours and 20 minutes of Zoom. So I do this thing, and my breakout session that they put me in charge of was, how do we distribute prizes to the competitors?
Okay.
How do we distribute prizes? What's the fair way to distribute prizes to the competitors?
Mm-hmm.
What do you base it on? Do you base it on how many kids are in the field? So we go through this whole thing. About 15 minutes into the discussion, someone from Texas says, "This isn't the way we do it here. Let me explain how we do it here."
Okay.
I said, okay, go ahead. I can't keep trying to posture this the right way. I'm just going to say she, because I'll keep going messing up. She says, well, last week We had 21 kids in the 9-10 group.
9 and 10-year-olds?
Yeah.
Okay.
We had 21 kids. I said, that's awesome. She said they each got something at the end.
Hey, there you go.
And I said, okay, what do you mean by that? And she said, well, we gave out gift cards. We gave out gift certificates in the pro shop, which is what 50% or probably more than that tournaments do.
Mm-hmm.
She said, so we had $400 to divvy out. Said, okay. She said that was our prize package. It was $400. So, and I don't remember exact her numbers, but she said something like, we gave the winner $120.
Okay.
We gave the next kid $105.
Okay.
We gave the next kid $95.
All right.
We gave the next kid $90. We gave the next kid $80. And they went right down the list.
Okay.
And the last placed kid, the 21st place kid, got $10.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
And I said to her, I don't know why you would do that.
Oh, are you doing participation trophies? Here we go. Here we go with this. Can't have a 9-year-old get a trophy.
What you're doing is we're conditioning them that everything they do will always be acceptable and will be good. It's outrageous. You didn't play well. Let me.
We had so much of an opportunity here.
We didn't play well enough. Your golf wasn't good enough for you to get something. What you got from this was something far more valuable than the gift card. You got your ass kicked, and you saw what you need to do in the future to get better if, in fact, that's what you want. Maybe you don't want to be great at golf. And if you don't, that's okay. It is. If you don't want to be a good Little League baseball player, it doesn't make you a bad kid. But we got to stop conditioning these kids to think that every time they do something, it was acceptable.
Right.
It's an outrage. And when they go try to get a real job, and the employer says we got 14 candidates, we don't give out 14 jobs. You didn't get the job.
Right.
Why not? Because the other candidate was better. Well, yeah, but you got to have something for me. I don't.
Definitely a lesson we got to teach at 9.
It's yes. 100%. It's a lesson we should be teaching kids all the time. I'm not asking you to be great at golf. What I am not willing to do is tell you is to create this fantasy land that you're getting something in return for this so that you don't feel bad. It's an outrage.
I thought it would. I honest to God, I can't believe it took us this long.
It's an outrage
to get to this week where this is not close to what's wrong with this country.
1,000,000%
I said that's incorrect.
is what's wrong with this country.
You are close to a point. If, for example,
it is what's wrong with this country.
If she had said, "Hey, we take these $400 and we divvy it up evenly, and everybody just gets the same thing," then you would 100% have a point to be made. 1,000% there would be a point there. If there's nothing wrong with saying we want kids to participate, we want this to be something that
it's a golf tournament
that they experience, they learn.
It's a golf tournament,
and
here's what you learned: if you don't finish in the top 6, you don't get anything.
It's next to nothing. It's $10 in a golf shop, and you make it very clear that if you do better, you get more. It's abundantly clear. It's not giving everyone the same thing and saying no matter what you do, you're going to be rewarded the same way. The idea is there is a system that teaches you if you perform better, if you do it better, you're going to get more. The idea that it's a problem to give a 9-year-old,
correct,
something.
Who shot 121?
Fine.
Shot 121, you don't get jack.
You want
Go fix your putting. You're what's wrong with the country.
No.
You endorse it. Stop giving these kids things when they fail.
I wish you had an actual example of something that was, because there are instances.
This is one of them.
No, it's not.
You shot 121.
You gave a 9-year-old a
$10
gift card.
Correct.
It's nothing.
It's a trophy.
It's nothing.
It's a trophy.
God.
It's a trophy.
So close. We were so close on this one.
No, you're
so close.
You just don't want to say it.
No,
it's not on your brand.
No. Not at all. Not at all that.
This is
if
what's
there was
wrong.
an actual problem, there was an actual
This
problem.
is what's
and
wrong.
you would have a point. If the same prize was given out to everyone, and it doesn't matter how you perform, then your point would be well taken.
Do what everyone else does. Give 200 to the winner because they won. Give 100 to the second place guy. Give 75 and 25, and that's the end of the money.
Yes, and
we don't have any more money left.
I think by 13, there's no doubt that that's fair.
We don't have any money left.
9-year-old children are children. They are the definition of children.
Correct.
And it's more, I like watching what a 9-year-old looks like right now and seeing all my stupid kids' friends that are all, I love that.
You have a 9-year-old?
Yeah, I do have a 9-year-old. Believe it or not.
So he's right in the mix of this.
100%.
He's what's wrong with the country.
And right now, all of these parents desperately need their 9-year-olds to participate in things.
That's correct.
Desperately
Let them
need
participate.
them to. Desperately need them
Let
to.
them participate.
And the notion that
a
$10 gift card is somehow, this is shameful, this is embarrassing. Get the entire F out,
You're
man.
insane.
Get the entire... Are you going to do... When your kids were 9, did you let them go searching for Easter eggs?
What do you mean, let them
Yeah.
search for Easter eggs then?
Yeah, when they were 9.
Next...
Yeah, they're still going to search
3
for Easter
weeks
eggs,
we
right?
do.
Well, what... I mean, how does it work at your house? Do you say... some eggs are for Ethan and some eggs are for Lucy, or do you say, like, nope, sorry, whoever finds the most, they get all the eggs?
I don't even remember.
Yeah, it's a participation trophy. You make sure that all the kids have the same amount of eggs. You actually
I
do
want the
worse
ones
than
with the
this.
Reese's.
I don't blame you
We
for
put
that.
the
The Reese's
Reese's
Cups are the best candy.
We put the Reese's
You
Cups.
know that this take is nonsense. You just don't want to say
it's
that.
not.
It's nonsense.
It's
nonsense.
You shouldn't be giving kids
the same thing. We agree.
Prizes when they failed.
A $10 gift card.
You're giving them something when they
is
failed.
definitively saying you weren't as good as the other kids. There is a pecking order here. If you perform better, you'd get more. You're establishing that. It's a good lesson to be learned at 9 years old.
You get nothing.
At 13 years old, you've got a better argument for there's no need to just neither you're participating or you're not.
Okay,
now.
so let's talk about 13-year-olds.
We can talk about 13-year-olds.
They shouldn't get jack.
Well, I don't know that I disagree with that.
So now we're just arguing about
that part
9-year-olds,
we
the 13-year-olds.
That part we actually are going to come around on.
All right, so what about 12-year-olds?
I don't know. I haven't decided that yet. I'm not there.
13 though.
13 to me is a cutoff. You're a teenager.
13,
now.
you should.
You're a teenager.
Put a weapon in your hand.
Exactly right. Go serve. Go serve.
Actually, in West
Get
Virginia,
a job.
in West Virginia,
yeah, they've had a weapon in their hand at 8.
You're actually allowed to take a gun into college now. Anyway, but that is what's wrong with the country.
It's a terrible example.
Okay, but hold on. I'll compromise with you.
Yes.
I'll compromise with you. What's wrong with the country is we're unwilling to tell children of young ages. How about that? Because 13's young.
Okay.
We're unwilling to tell them at 13, go get better.
Well, okay, at 13, I'm talking at 13.
All right.
At 13, I'll have this conversation.
I'll
with
acquiesce
you.
on that.
At 9, it's absurd.
It isn't to me, but for the sake of not arguing with you anymore, I'll say it is.
You know what 9-year-old kids are like. You just need them to walk straight. You need them to function.
They're not doing that.
What we should do is after youth games, if they lose, they don't get their snack after the game.
Oh,
right?
we're going that route? That's where we're going to go. You're getting rid of the freezy
There's
pops?
something to be said for that.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. We were doing so well with this segment. We were making valid points.
But what is wrong with? But this is the general summation.
I don't think there's anything wrong with giving the kids a positive association with the sport.
Participation trophy. Just say it.
But again.
But just say it.
No, there's a different point. If you're giving everyone the same thing, I agree with you. If the losers get the same thing as the winners, that's a problem. Your point actually is valid at that point. And there are instances where that is the case, where they're just saying, well, everybody gets the same thing. Winning and losing doesn't matter. And I disagree with that. You and I would agree if that were the case. But that's not happening here. They're very clearly saying it's more valuable to win. It's more valuable to perform better. If you do that, you'll be rewarded that way. That's exactly the way that it should work at 9. Exactly correct.
I don't agree with you.
You're wrong. You're what's wrong with the country.
Maybe.
Quickly, I'm only going to do a 2-minute version. I could have done a 12-minute version of this.
I can't wait.
This picture is what's wrong with this country.
You.
I was trying to log into my PayPal the other day to pay somebody, and I got this message. It says, checking with your wireless carrier to make sure it's you.
Let me see.
I want you to see that.
Okay.
Tell you what's wrong with this country. I'm me. Why are you checking with my wireless carrier to see if I'm me?
Right.
Why not check with me to figure out if I'm me?
I love this. I do love this.
Checking with your wireless carrier to make sure it's you. Well, good. I'm sure the guy answering the phone in India is going to be able to tell you if it's me.
I love this.
Why not check with me? We all have to put our fingerprints into things now in order to do that. My God!
I love it.
Checking with your wireless carrier to make sure it's you.
Here's the irony of this. You ready? I don't even know what this. Do you want to say what company it was, or doesn't matter?
It was PayPal.
Here's the irony is, and I'm saying this as it relates to this topic,
Yes.
not a political comment.
Yes.
You don't have to show your ID to vote. I don't have to know it's you to vote. I don't have to take out my license and prove to you I'm Glenn Clark to vote. But in order to make a PayPal transaction, someone else has to verify.
If I want
it's
to pay
me.
my cousin $20 back because he paid for the wings at trivia night, I've got to have Verizon.
It is pretty funny.
Steve Verizon.
It is funny.
Got to let them know they're gonna call who? They're gonna call a call center in India.
It is pretty funny.
How is that person going to know it's me?
But you don't have to have your ID to vote.
Well, it's a different.
No, but
it's you're.
It isn't.
But no, it's not, because they're both against the law. Like, and that part matters, right? Like, if you hacked into my PayPal, there is a penalty to be paid for that. That PayPal can say whatever they want. There is a law that if you vote as someone else, that is against the law. You go to jail for that.
Well,
you say whatever. I know you're going to do your thing. I understand that.
But it's just they have to verify you for PayPal, but they don't have to verify you to vote.
It's absurd.
It is funny.
It's absurd. And by the way, the same thing is happening today with Facebook. I just told Griffin at the beginning of the show, this is weird. Somebody's trying to sign in my Facebook. I realized what occurred. Yesterday when Facebook was down, before I realized it was down, I was trying to change my password because I couldn't get into Facebook. And they didn't register any of those attempts to change my password until today. Today, because again, Facebook at the time was down, they didn't register any of it. So now I've tried to change my password too many times. I'm locked out. It's me! It's my Facebook page. I know that. But I'm not allowed onto my Facebook page because they shut down yesterday. There's got to be a way. There's got to be a thing. When I love
that you're tortured.
When I want to sign in at the to check my work email at the Odyssey, I got to go to some other app.
I don't even do that.
Well, of course you don't.
I mean, I gave up on that.
I got to
What's
go
that
to
thing
some
called?
other app.
One in, one world,
login or something
point.
like that.
I
got to go to some other app and put my thumbprint in.
Right.
Hey, Facebook, ask me for my thumbprint, and you'll find out it's me.
It is pretty funny.
But PayPal's going to call Verizon. Hey, do you happen to know if a guy in Moncton, Maryland, that's trying to log in to PayPal, do you happen to know if that's... How would we know?
You know what I do now? You know how many of the Norton virus things you get every week?
Oh, 100 of them.
I call them all now.
Oh, yeah? You're all in on that?
I call them all. I call every one of them. Every time I get one. I just got one yesterday.
Oh, Proctor's going to whoop your ass now. Oh, you're going to be embarrassed.
Okay.
How much did the guy who placed 67th at the Cognizant Classic make last weekend?
Totally different. There was a cut. Oh, totally different. There was a cut. Some guys didn't get any money.
Right?
Some guys.
The guy that finished 67th, how much did he make?
He whatever he made, but half the field didn't get any money.
Right, but how much did the guy that finished 67th
I don't know the answer to that.
Because the kid that finished 21st got $10.
That's correct. They didn't have a cut.
So what you're saying is
they should have a cut.
The first 12 kids are allowed to make money.
Correct.
But after that, they're not allowed to.
No. In this case, 21 kids. Honestly, what should get paid? 30% of those kids.
So the guy that finished in 67th,
he gets money because the other half the field got cut.
Right, but
that's
he finished
zero.
in 67.
Correct.
He wasn't nearly good enough.
That's correct.
Wasn't close to good enough.
That is correct.
And he made $19,000.
That's correct. But the rest of the field who played in the tournament got zero.
Right.
Got cut.
Right, I understand. But he finished in 67.
And I have objected forever and still object to, and this week is one of them, I think, maybe there is a cut at the signature event at Arnie's event. Any tournament, any golf tournament that doesn't have a cut, it's a farce.
Well, I hear you.
There should be a cut in a golf tournament of these statures, PGA Tour. There are even cuts in amateur tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
There should be a cut in the tournament that says you.
But why does the guy that finished in 67th place make money?
Because they cut out the other
understand
half
that.
of the field.
But this guy that finished in 67th place wasn't nearly good enough.
They got correct.
Wasn't even in the
That is
stratosphere of being good
100%
enough.
correct.
Why does he get to make money?
Because he was in the tournament, and the other half of the guys got zero.
Sounds like a participation trophy to me.
Not at all.
Sounds like a participation trophy.
Zero. It would
That's
be
what it
different.
Sounds like to me, dog.
It would be different if they all got money, and I do disagree with that.
Mm-hmm.
There should never be a tournament where the guy that finishes dead last gets money.
Why does the guy in 67th get money?
Because they had a cut. I keep telling you.
I understand that, but why in 67th? Why is that the number? Why is it that the first
because half the field didn't get any money.
I understand that, but why does the guy in 67? You're telling me why the guy in 127th doesn't make money? Why does the guy in 67th make money? Why?
I don't have anything else to say to you. I mean, I don't have. I've said this 6 times.
You're telling me you're answering a different question.
No, I'm not.
I understand why the rest of the field doesn't.
144
make money.
guys teed off. 60, some of them don't get anything.
I get that.
Right.
I mean, as you
Why
say
does
he earned it? Like he's gotten.
Why
to this
does the
level
guy
of
in 67th?
professional
Why is
golf.
that guy getting paid?
He earned it. There you go. He earned it.
How did he earn it?
Well, because he beat the
shot
other 60 guys. I guess.
Yeah, he should.
Right.
He beat 65 other guys.
So the kid that finishes in 20th beat the kid that finished.
He
in
should
21st.
get 0.
Right. But he beat the kid that finished in 21st.
He should get 0.
Yeah,
Right.
I see.
Yeah.
All right.
It's weird.
He should get 0.
It's really weird how this works.
He should get.
I mean,
nothing.
Proctor just owned your ass, but it's okay.
Proctor.
It's okay. Own your ass.
It's like getting owned by Trump. They're both about the same.
Hang on a second.
They're
I
both
need
about-
to know this.
They're both about the same
because
mentality.
I ignore everything he says. But did he describe Hannibal Lecter as a good guy recently?
Who?
Trump did?
I have no idea.
I swear to God, I need to know the answer to that question. Because you see things on the internet, and sometimes you're like, okay, that's not real. We're just.
Oh,
you're
75% of.
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
Trump compares migrants to Hannibal Lecter, and
But did he follow it up
Well,
by
what
saying?
did he say? He might have made a point.
I swear to God,
He might have made a valid point.
The clip that I saw that was going around was him saying, "Now this guy Hannibal Lecter, good guy, bad things." I swear to God, I need to know if he actually said that. Because
he might have.
this is how back-asswards we are now. The guy said Hannibal, if it's true, he would have said Hannibal Lecter's a good guy, and we just don't even react to it. We're just like, nah.
He should be embarrassed. He lost to what's her name last night?
Oh, in Vermont, yeah, it's a tough showing. Tough showing. Well, in fairness, Biden lost American Samoa. I don't know what's going on in
I don't know
American
how that. To
Samoa. I don't even know
To
who
who?
will vote. I don't know. Somebody. You got to get a break.
who? Hold on. Hannibal Lecter.
I just want to know. I just want to know.
I'm just looking it up. Trump compares migrants to Hannibal Lecter.
I understand.
in
Well,
Silence of the Lambs.
let's-
Okay, so
let's-
maybe hold on. This could
Let's
be.
get to the.
This
take
could
a
be
break.
legitimate.
I have to take a break because we got to talk to Eric Edholm in a minute. I just don't know what he actually said. I would like to know if
They're
that's
rough
true or not.
people. In many cases, from jails, prisons, mental institutions, insane asylums.
Did-
Like Silence of the Lambs.
But what did he say about Hannibal Lecter?
Any Hannibal Lecter? Anybody know Hannibal Lecter? We don't want him in this country.
Okay, that's not that. That's not.
Well, he's right. We don't want Hannibal Lecter
I
in the country.
agree that we don't want Hannibal Lecter in the country. I agree with that. I don't know. I have
all
no
of a
idea.
sudden now you're
I have
changing-
no idea what it has to.
Now you're changing your vote.
I have no idea what it has to do with the border, but I agree that we don't want Hannibal Lecter in the country.
Another
The question
vote
is, did
coming.
he say he's a good guy?
No,
Okay.
no, not at all. He said migrants are rough people.
All right.
In many cases, from jails, prisons, mental
right.
institutions,
All right.
insane asylums.
All right.
Like Silence of the Lambs.
All right, we'll take a break.
So there you go. Just go ahead and vote for him now.
I don't know that I'm going to do that. Don't know that that's going to be the case.
Number 47.
When we come back in,
We don't have teachers.
We'll
teaching-
try to steer the ship. We will talk some NFL
Oh,
draft.
God.
Eric Edholm
I
from
gotta go.
NFL.com. Oh, you got to go?
Yeah, I gotta go.
Well, that's a shame. It's a real bum. Well,
Yeah, I got
you can't play Would You Rather Wednesday?
No, I got to go.
All right, see ya. Goodbye.
All right.
Goodbye. You want to plug something? You doing the golf show this week?
I was supposed to hear. I was supposed to hear yesterday what was going on, and I didn't hear.
All right. Very good. That's
I don't know
Drew'sMorningDish.com.
if I'm doing it or not.
Drew's
What's
Morning
the calendar say?
I don't know.
But I don't
It
think
does
I'm
say
doing
you
it.
are.
Does it?
Definitely says you're on.
12 to 1?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not doing it 12 to 1.
It's going to be an awkward day. Drew'sMorningDish.com, at It's a Hooded 4 on Twitter, and the golf show maybe at some point again in the future. I don't know. We come back in, Eric Edholm. It's next. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
Craving that classic New York deli experience? Look no further than the new Atman's Deli in Baltimore's Harbor Point. Corned beef piled high, hand-rolled bagels, and something different. A bar! Atman's has food and drink specials every day. Now open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Dine in, grab takeout, or hang out at the bar for the next O's game. Atman's Deli, an authentic taste of Baltimore tradition since 1915. Find us at Harbor Point or visit atmansdeli.com.
Why bet with the big boys this football season? Instead, try your hand with the local book, Superbook Sports, this fall. Superbook Sports is the book next door. Just a dedicated team of the best odds makers in Las Vegas, making sure you get the best prices and parlays anywhere. And now, Superbook will give you a bonus of up to $250 when you sign up and wager on the same day and use the promo code GlennClark23, GLENNCLARK23. So bet with the best and use the promo code GlennClark23 this football season with Superbook Sports. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Whether you're celebrating a special milestone, entertaining clients, or simply enjoying a night out, count on Ruth's Chris to deliver you the finest steaks, the best service, and a level of hospitality that has made Ruth's Chris one of the most revered names in steaks since 1965. Make your reservation now at ruthschris.com.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
The ultimate fan experience awaits you at Sports and Social Maryland. See how we're raising the sports bar with our massive 100-foot media wall featuring 40 HD TVs and a 47-foot big screen. Bet on your favorite teams and this year's biggest events at the FanDuel Sportsbook while enjoying your favorite beers and cocktails, plus our delicious takes on bar food classics. Visit Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, at Arundel Mills. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Discover your next favorite beer crafted in the heart of Charm City. At Guilford Hall Brewery, we believe beer should be flavorful and easy to enjoy. Our meticulously crafted lagers and ales are derived from centuries-old European brewing traditions, a staple for both the seasoned beer aficionado or a novice hophead. Experience beer styles that dare to showcase the exceptionality of simplicity. Visit our restaurant and brewery at 1611 Guilford Avenue or view our menu and tap map online at guilfordhall.com. Guilford Hall Brewery, European tradition, Baltimore charm.
The latest edition of Pressbox is available now, and on the cover we look at the promise of spring for the Baltimore Orioles as Todd Karpovich and others shine the light on the team's hopes to take the next step towards championship contention and what reinforcements could still be coming. Plus, Pressbox personalities offer suggestions to David Rubenstein about stewarding the franchise. Also inside, Bo Smolka on how the Ravens defense could evolve with new coordinator Zach Orr. And we meet lacrosse players from the men's and women's programs across the state. Pressbox is available for free at over 500 area locations, including 60 Royal Farm stores. And you can always find the entire edition as well as the best daily coverage of the O's, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
All right, back in here on GCR. We continue along. If you missed it on Monday, Stan the Fan, Charles, Ross Grimsley, Luke Jackson got together. You can watch it, Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline, or PressBoxOnline.com/video. Stan is headed down to Florida. We'll be checking in with him down at Sarasota throughout the course of the week or two that he is down there. So we'll be looking forward to Stan's reports from Oriole spring training here on GCR over the course of the next couple of weeks. All right, every week we like to talk a little NFL draft. Obviously, a lot of fallout from the Combine this past weekend in Indianapolis. And what actually mattered? What did we actually learn? Joining us now, one of our favorites, of course, NFL.com is where you find him. He's our buddy Eric Edholm, and he's back with us here on GCR. Eric, it's Glenn. It's always great to catch up, man. Thank you for taking the time for us this morning.
Pleasure's mine. What's happening?
Everything is good, man. Look, I am, once upon a time, I was very much a draft nerd, right? Like, I used to go to the combine. I used to do the whole thing. I'm not what I was once upon a time. So
Right.
I ask for you to separate, like, every time somebody's measurements go up, there is a percentage of the internet that's like, whoa, that's what actually mattered? Like, we know that Xavier Worthy ran really fast, but we knew he was really fast going in. So did that dramatically change? Like, what actually changed for someone's reality based on what happened over the course of the week in Indianapolis?
Yeah, I mean, I think there was definitely some movement, right? And it I guess it says something about a receiver class when Xavier Worthy isn't guaranteed to be a first-round pick after breaking the combine 40 record. He could be, but we just don't know yet. And I think it was probably more helpful for his teammate A.D. Mitchell, let's say, who ran a 4.34 and is a bigger guy and had some moments there. And there's some questions about how much of a alpha receiver he is, or is Ladd McConkey from Georgia truly that guy? If you watched his receiving drills, you'd say, wow, that looked like how it's supposed to look. And so, I think it probably helped more for those type of players, or, if you really want to get into the weeds, somebody like the Illinois tight end, Tip Ryman, testing like an elite athlete. And I'm serious when I say that, because I think more often than not, it's the day 3 kids or the undrafted prospects who boost themselves into being draftable with a great workout, or who remind people, hey, maybe you didn't get to see me featured as much in college, but I can play and I have the athletic ability to be there. So, there were plenty of examples of that. Or maybe you're looking at a really deep offensive tackle class and saying, wow, Joe Alt is 6'9" and can run a 5 flat. That's pretty good. So there's always movement. I don't know that it's quite as dramatic as some people want to make it out to be, but it's also a little more subtle and in the shadows a little bit than some of the showcase guys.
Let's talk about the tackles, right? Like, because I've heard this for weeks that the best position to have an area of need is offensive line in this class. And I don't know if the Ravens are specifically going to be in the market for a tackle, because we still don't know yet what they're going to do with both Ronnie Stanley and Morgan Moses.
Right.
But presumably, I mean, we know that they need guards, and they might need a future tackle in this class. So before I talk about some specific names, how deep is this group in terms of, like, finding guys that might be able to start on day one? Like, are we looking at a class that's so deep that perhaps if the Ravens needed a starting right or left guard, they could find that guy in the 3rd round of this draft?
It's possible. Yeah, no, I really think it's deeper on the inside than I realized, and that also includes, of course, the college left and right tackles who are bound to be kicked inside in the pros. And so, yeah, I mean, I think about a guy like Jordan Morgan, who played left tackle for 4 years at Arizona, the last 2 of which were very good. And some people say, hey, look, he doesn't have that elite length, but a good athlete. And again, another guy who may not be guaranteed to be picked in the first 32. In fact, I would say he's maybe, I would put more chance on him not falling there. Or Cooper Beebe, a really good, like, pros pro for a college guard. You look at him and you say, that kid could start tomorrow. I don't know that he's a top 32 pick. Christian Haynes from UConn, I think, is a Ravens-type guard who is a mauler and a brawler who got overshadowed on a bad football team the last few years. He goes down to the Senior Bowl, kicks some tail, looks great, goes to the combine, works out well. So, he might be an early 3rd rounder for all I know. And yeah, I think there could be 2 or 3 centers who go at the end of round 1. That's unusual. I know you guys aren't looking for one, but all 3 of them can play guard too. The tackle group, we might get half a dozen in round 1 or more. And, after that, there are some still decent options. I think after day 2, we're going to be stretching a little bit. There will be players who can play, who get picked after that. But I don't know, we're talking about like generational depth where you can roll into day 3 and be like, all right, let's just take whoever's.
Yeah.
It's not that good. Yeah.
He is Eric Edholm from NFL.com. He's with us here on GCR. Eric, I have a history of falling in love with someone as being the guy that, like, I desperately want the Ravens to pick that player. Now, you know, the number of times that's actually worked out has been very small, and ironically, one of them was Sergio Kindle. So, you know, it's
nice.
what it is. I have finally come around that I think, given their needs at the moment, that the guy that I'm in love with is Troy Faltanu, right? And I know that he had a very good combine, and there were rave reviews, and so now I ask a two-part question. The first is, if the Ravens' need is someone who could start at guard immediately, but perhaps be a future tackle if they move on from Ronnie Stanley, say, after this year, or they move on from Morgan Moses after this year, is Faltanu the guy, and is there danger now that perhaps he's not still around at the end of the first round where the Ravens are picking?
I don't think he's going to be there. Isn't that crazy? I mean, he is somebody who, maybe he doesn't look the part exactly for a left tackle. You know, he's right around 6'4", but the arm length makes me feel pretty good. And once you turn on the tape and see how athletic and how fluid and how, you know, positionally smart he is, his recovery is really good. You know, he can get beat initially and get into a spot where he can still, you know, shield his quarterback, and really gets out there in the run game too. I mean, I wanted to put him higher on my top 100 list that's coming out in a couple days here. I think I had him somewhere around 15, 16, something like that. And at this point, I think he's a top 20 pick. I don't know exactly where he's going to go, but there are enough teams kind of in that 15 to 20 range that I think could use offensive line help that may favor him. But then again, we haven't seen workouts from J.C. Latham yet. We don't, you know, Amarius Mims is a little bit of a wild card because of his lack of experience. So you never truly know, but my guess is at worst, I think he's coming off the board in the early 20s. So,
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Eric. Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry to crush your dreams in March, you know, but here we are.
So then who would, if that, and again, there's so much still to be determined as far as what needs will be, but if they do hold on to Moses and Stanley, and the need is a guard, but a guard that you identify as someone that could be a tackle in year 2, who to you might make sense around the 30th pick?
Okay, so I mentioned Morgan, Jordan Morgan, who is, you know, played for 4 years at Arizona, had a you know, really good last 2 years, I think. Again, kind of like Faltanu, who is, you know, the length is a little less than desirable. I know he's 6'5", but his arm length is right a little below 33 inches. That's kind of the cutoff for some teams. But a player who has a nice anchor, moves pretty well. I thought he had a solid Senior Bowl week, not mind-blowing. He didn't dominate people, but I don't remember him getting beat very often. Grips people and shields them off, moves well, you know, has enough length, I think, to hold up against some of those longer rushers, the long-arm guys out there. I like him a lot. I think I think I had him 33rd on my board, somewhere like that. So, you know, again, especially if you've seen a run at that position where, you know, 6 tackles have already been taken, and by the time you're picking, I don't think you say, oh, well, that's a stretch, that's a reach, we can't take him there. Plus, I don't think the Ravens, I think what I appreciate most about them is they find their guys, and they care less about, I mean, they end up getting really good value most of the time anyway, but especially on day 2, I feel like that's where they just say, here's where we pick the players who fit us very, very, very well.
Sure.
And we know that type, and we make it work, and they often do. So, you know, if it's not at 30 or wherever they're picking in round 1, you know, there's also a lot of teams who could be in the quarterback hunt, Bo Nix, Michael Penix, whatever. They slide back to 35 and get the same player. I can see it.
No, I get it. It makes all the sense in the world. Let me touch on a couple of other positions that look like they might be areas of need, with, again, so much to be determined by free agency. Edge rush, I know that the Ravens will tell you that they are happy with the production of Odafe Owe. And if you look at certain specific numbers, he had a nice season. But unfortunately, one of those numbers isn't pure sacks. They're going to bring back Justin Madubuike, even if it's on the franchise tag. But it still feels like they could use someone who gets the quarterback on the ground at the edge position. I just look around 30 and I'm not sure, right? Like, is there a player in that range that makes sense? It feels like, again, almost it's weird that if that's your need, you're almost better picking in the second round at that point.
Yeah, it is kind of one of those positions where, Dallas Turner had a great workout. He's going ahead of the Ravens. I don't know where, somewhere in that top 15, 20. Latu is a really interesting player who's had kind of a concerning medical history. He was medically retired at one point, doesn't have the longest arms in the world, a little bit older, but the football quotient looks really nice. I could see the Ravens possibly being interested in him, especially if he's not the top 25 pick. Some people, thought he might be at one point. Darius Robinson from Missouri fits sort of that Justin Houston kind of body type, bigger, longer, thicker, doesn't blow by you, but has some quickness, can kick inside, I think has some positional versatility. And his workout in Indy was not particularly great, but that was coming off a Senior Bowl week when he dominated one-on-ones. I mean, beating first-round tackles with ease at times. So absolutely would put him in the Ravens camp. He just sort of fits their mold a little bit. Kind of a blue-collar kid with a military background, unheralded recruit, built himself up, was more of a D tackle in 2022, switched to end, really good. I mean, that's, as I talk it through, I think that may be a name that we tuck away for Baltimore as a possibility. And then, like you said, it sort of falls into that. Are we in love with any of those players? Or are they even available? And then what's left? Chris Braswell would be a day 2 Ravensy kind of pick from Alabama. I could see that.
Baltimore native.
With Alabama, too. So
yeah. I mean, look, Ozzy's not running the room anymore, but yes, the influence still exists. No doubt. Look, there's so much talk about the Ravens and the running back position. I'm still struggling with the idea of them spending real money in an offseason where they don't have a lot of money to spend on a running back. I struggle with this. It feels like smoke to me, but maybe that's the route they're going. I would think that if you want to bolster, if you're going to lose Gus Edwards, if you don't bring back J.K. Dobbins, that drafting running backs is just what we've learned is the way to go about doing this, especially when you're paying a quarterback.
Sure.
If what they need is a Gus Edwards sort of replacement, if what they need is between the tackles, short yardage, goal line, where Gus Edwards was so dominant in recent years, obviously it's deeper in the draft, but who specifically fits the mold of maybe replacing Gus Edwards as far as these running backs are concerned?
Yeah, may I introduce you to Audric Estime from Notre Dame?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you're aware of him, but I know a lot of people listening probably just getting on board. But so he goes to the combine, runs a 4.7, and people groan. And I thought, I don't know what people expected him to run. That's exactly what I thought he would. I mean, but you watch him, and he cranks out the 7-yard gains like they're nothing because he's always falling forward, and he's always running with low pads, and he's always got this determined style to him. And maybe he's not going to blow your hair back with his cutting ability or his shiftiness or whatever, but Gus doesn't either. He's just smart and savvy, really good runner. And I think I see some of the same traits. And, he just sort of feels like an AFC North back. I could see any of the 4 AFC North teams taking him. So be forewarned, but I wouldn't be shocked if he's the kind of player where teams say, I'm glad he didn't work out well, because meaning he didn't better the expected times, because maybe we have a better shot of getting him now. And yeah, I think he's a player that could go somewhere in that mid to late 3rd round range, possibly even early 4th. But you look back and you say, what a great pick that was, just because he fits that role so well.
And my guy Mike Golick Jr. has been hammering him to me.
It's
like, dude, that's your guy. Like, that's the one.
That's the one.
I see it. I understand the thought process.
He might be your new guy. Maybe he moves Troy Fatanu to the side. And he becomes
Right, that's the
your
guy I fall in love with. All right, I've got room in my heart. I have room to consider otherwise, Eric. Let me wrap with this because you brought up the way things fall to the Ravens. If there was a player that maybe isn't uniquely about need, but you look at if there were to be a repeat Kyle Hamilton situation, and I get it, that was much higher in the first round, so it's not a good comparison to make. But if there was someone that just happened to be sitting there at 30, and again, it's not necessarily one of these needs that we've talked about, but you could see there being a little bit of slippage and other teams missing, and you saying, oh, my God, the Ravens are going to end up doing it again. They're going to have this play out. Who would that guy be that you would think about?
I think my first mock draft that I did about a month ago, I think I had them getting Johnny Newton, the D tackle from Illinois, and I wasn't sure at that point how they were going to handle Matabike and, what the depth needs were. But again, it could be one of those players where the Ravens have the foresight of knowing, hey, yes, this isn't a screaming need or he's going to be a starter, but he's going to contribute and we're going to groom him behind this player and that player. Johnny Newton's a pretty good developmental guy. Like, to get it at number 30, I thought he was going to be a top 25 pick most of the season. Now I'm not sure. Somewhere in that kind of late first, early second round. Wasn't able to work out, has this injury he's dealing with. But if you turn on the tape and you see violence and you see impact. Now, he had an NFL player next to him in Keith Randolph, but I think he kind of carried that group. And I think there is some positional versatility. Maybe he's a 4-eye, maybe he's a 3-tech, maybe he's a passing down nose tackle, what have you. But again, just another player that sort of screams violent and impactful Ravens-y kind of player. He wouldn't shock me at that point.
I can see that. I look, and again, that's just the type of player they say, hey, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Give him 20 snaps, right?
Yep.
And he'll be great in that role. Yep.
Give me a good football player. We'll make it work. When's the next mock coming, Eric?
Good question. I think it's actually after a week or two of free agency. I've got my top 100 list coming out, I think either Thursday or Friday. And so I'm knee deep on that, tweaking and, adding comments and all that stuff.
And, of course, content all the time at NFL.com as well. And at Eric_Edholm is how you follow him. Anything else I can plug for you, my friend?
That's about it, man. I'm excited for Detroit. It's going to be a great scene for the draft in, 49 days away, something like that.
I feel like
Crazy.
you might be the first human in history that's ever uttered that sentence, by the way.
My friends from Michigan, just trying to throw them a bone,
Eric Edholm, always appreciate you, man. This is always a lot of fun. Thanks for taking the time for us. Let's do it again as we get closer to the draft, all right?
Glad. Looking forward to it, man. See ya.
Thanks, pal. Eric Edholm with us, NFL.com. Appreciate him taking the time. If you haven't picked up the new print issue of Pressbox yet, what are you waiting for? It's available for free at your neighborhood Royal Farms and at the hundreds of locations around town where you find Pressbox. You can read it all at PressBoxOnline.com. Dive into the promise of spring and what's going on with the 2024 Baltimore Orioles. All right, let's do Would You Rather Wednesday. Would You Rather Wednesday is brought to you by Glory Days Grill. Someone's winning a $25 gift card to Glory Days Grill, where they've still got the Friday fish fry going on, the hot fish sandwich, and the big, fabulous fish fry. You can also, on Wednesdays, get a starter, an entree, and a beverage starting at just $11. They call it Triple Crown Wednesday. Find out more at GloryDaysGrill.com. Of course, Goose Flight's Lager available at the Maryland locations of Glory Days Grill. GloryDaysGrill.com. Great food, good sports. I would look it up on Facebook, but I'm not allowed on my Facebook page. Great place. It's me. Hi.
All right, let me see.
It's
You
me.
need me to pull it up?
I got it. I can.
all right.
Apparently, I'm still allowed to access Facebook on my phone.
No, don't say it too loud. They might.
Right? They might take it away from me. God. Would you rather? Number one, the market for Jadeveon Clowney is more robust than expected, and the Ravens have to pay 2 years, $20 million to bring him back, or they use the same money on Derrick Henry.
Use that money. It was
2 years, $20 million.
2 years, $20 million.
Again, the
Derrick
projections
Henry.
for Jadeveon Clowney are more like $7 to $7.5 million per. I'm saying that the market drives that up. 2 years, $20 million for Jadeveon Clowney or for Derrick Henry.
You pocket it.
Nope. No, you can't. It's Would You Rather Wednesday, a-hole.
Extend that PK.
Swear to God, Griffin, I don't have it in me. Play the damn game.
So Clowney, 2 years. This is his age 31 season.
That sounds right.
Yeah, give or take, age 31 season. Or Henry for 2 years, $10 million apiece.
Yes.
Oh man, I don't know. Maybe it's because I just heard Femi talking to raving about him yesterday.
You're saying Derrick Henry. By the way, Jadeveon Clowney's birthday is Valentine's Day. How about that?
Just missed it.
Yeah.
I wonder if he went to Ruth's Chris.
I don't know. He probably didn't have as good a night as I did. RuthChris.com.
I'll go Clowney because
this is the difficult part because it is coming in overwhelmingly on Clowney, but
maybe this just is the right spot for him. I don't know.
This is the difficult part about it is like a year ago, if we had said the same thing, you would have said that's effing insane. So are we overreacting to one season? Are we being too dismissive of the true greatness of Derrick Henry when we say that? Because it does feel like the answer is, well, just overpay for Clowney. And again, we'd say overpay, but if that's what the market dictates, that's what the market dictates. It feels like $10 million, you're getting more for your money from Derrick Henry. It just feels like it's at a position that you just don't care about. I think you're right, and I think the answer is Clowney, but I'm afraid that we're all dopes, and we're all...
You think there's a real possibility that it could be that money would go towards...
Well, I don't think that's... I don't think that's what the market will be for Clowney. I don't think that's what it will be. I'm doing this for Would You Rather Wednesday, Griffin. This was a bit. And again, I still couldn't get many people to bite on Derrick Henry. I just can't get many people to bite on Derrick Henry. It's weird because...
Make it
Derrick
2
Henry.
years, $10 million.
For...
Derrick Henry. I'll bite.
Oh, they bring the number back down the other way? Somebody did ask me that in the follow-up to all the conversation that we had with Femi yesterday, was like, what would be the number? Because Femi got it to where he's like, well, if it's 5.5 for Gus and it's 8 for Derrick Henry, then, isn't it worth it that's a negligible amount of money to get a better player in Derrick Henry? And I was like, yeah, I could see that. But it would surprise me if Derrick Henry came down.
If the numbers were that close, yeah.
Like,
in the scenario that Femi posed,
right? Like
seems no-brainer.
If it did, yeah, I get his point. But where exactly is the cutoff? I don't know. Like, is it worth $5 million for Gus? Probably. So if the difference is 5 for Gus, 9 for Derrick Henry, I'm still probably sliding to Gus. Like Derrick Henry to me would have to crash to like
8 or 7,
8 at the most for me to be willing to consider that. Like at 8. If you're willing to spend any money at all. And somebody would still say, why are you spending $5 million on Gus Edwards? To Eric Edholm's point, just go get Audric Estime, and you've got your Gus Edwards. Why do that? I like Gus Edwards. Just really like Gus Edwards.
I mean, it just these running backs seem to have such a shelf life. And
I hear you, but I feel like Gus Edwards
I'm very
is never
worried that.
But Gus Edwards isn't a tread off the tire guy. You know what I mean? Like Gus Edwards has not had an extraordinary amount of carries during the course of his career, and what he does is what he does. Like Gus Edwards, not like suddenly you're like, hey, are we gonna get a big boost outside the numbers? Like, no, you know exactly what Gus Edwards is.
But seeing how his yards per carry drops in that Gus from just last season, like just such a starch.
But some of that was situation specific. Like they bring him in situations where they need 2 yards, and he gets them 2 yards. It's the old saying, like, hey, if you need 2 yards, he's going to get you 2 yards. If you need 6 yards, he's going to get you 2 yards. Like that's I respect the value of that.
I mean,
to the point.
I don't think I'm going to be worried. Whatever they do at running back,
I think it goes both ways. Like, I don't think I'm going past $5 million for Gus Edwards. Like, if the market said it was $6 million Gus Edwards, I'm probably out on that too.
Good for
I think
you.
5 is kind of the limit for me on Gus Edwards.
That might be too high for me, but
I'm spending someone else's money. I can go to 5.
Yeah, give him 10.
Number 2, the Orioles indeed have Colton Cowser start the season at Norfolk because they just have too much. Or, in order to clear space for him, they trade Austin Hayes for a decent bullpen arm and a mid-level prospect.
Whoa.
I think people might be reading too much into decent there. Like, I think they're like in there. They're like, yeah, that's
Decent?
good. Like, it's just
I
decent,
hear
just decent, nothing more than decent. Like,
so not an all-star.
no, just
Okay.
somebody. And I'm telling you, this is the way that society works.
I know it's impossible to like come up with an example.
I really did try this morning. Like, I was poking around in teams that you can make trades with, but like the Mariners were a team that I was like, maybe they could use an Austin Hayes type, right? But then I looked at their bullpen and what they had, Brash get hurt, so like that's the one guy that probably would have had some value.
Right.
Like the rest of their setup guys are all guys that had ERAs around. Basically, they had the bullpen, the Orioles bullpen.
I mean,
otherwise.
so whoever this decent bullpen arm is, he's going to come and make a save in some big spot. He's also going to blow a save.
But he wouldn't be a closer. Remember, he just
but I feel like there's going to be just the way that this bullpen looks.
I get it.
Think there might be
I'm
a
saying
situation
that you'd be bringing in a solid sixth or seventh inning guy, someone that can be helpful.
kind of like Bauman was for the first like half. Of,
Yeah, okay, that's not a terrible comparison.
Yeah. I think I would take that for
You'd make the Hayes
a
trade?
mid-level prospect. Yeah, and
Mid-level?
trust how like, the heater that this that the minor league system is on developing players. I think I can.
It's overwhelming.
Is it going to be a pitcher or a bat?
I'm not giving you that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we got to see what Colin Cowser is. So yeah, sorry, it sucks, but yeah, I guess I'm trading Hayes.
All right. Number 3, we did this last week. I'll follow it up on again now that the Steelers' quarterback next season is Russell Wilson or Kirk Cousins.
It's not Flacco though.
No, not Flacco.
All right. Schefter said the other day that that Flacco could land in New England.
That would be interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
again,
Like
with Brady gone, my New England hate is lowered. The
yeah.
temperature's definitely been lowered. Now Belichick's gone too. Like, it's almost. But
right.
then I remember they're still in Boston. Like, and I still hate everything Boston related.
So it'd be like they draft a guy. So would it be Flacco, Mac Jones, and
J.J. McCarthy? Oh, you'd say later, maybe even like they draft like Michael Pratt.
No. I mean, I would think.
I would think that if they take somebody in the
Jay
first
Daniels,
round,
whatever
then
it
Mac
is.
Jones is not on the roster anymore. Like, if they're drafting a first-round quarterback and signing someone, then Mac Jones is no longer on
Mac
the
Jones
roster.
the only quarterback they have right now.
I don't know if Bailey Zappi's under
Yeah,
contract or not.
right, Bailey
I couldn't tell you.
I'll take Kirk, the guy that hasn't won a Super Bowl.
This is an interesting one to me. This one's much more split. Like, a lot of people just think that Russell Wilson's washed. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. The guy that played last year was not that bad. Now, somebody would point out he also threw more behind the line of scrimmage than most quarterbacks do in putting up numbers. So if you want to say you think that Kirk Cousins still has more of an ability to hump it down the field and that's what makes him more dangerous, then I'll listen to that argument. I think there is still the part of me that feels the way that you do, which
Coming
is
off
like
an injury, like I'll take.
Well, no, it's more about Russ. That like I know that we're removed from Russ being like Russell Wilson was a
Super
Hall
Bowl,
of Fame quarterback. Like, I don't know how much this last stretch impacts the way that
his legacy.
Right. I don't know what that ends up. But 2 years ago, every single one of us would have said, you're looking at a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback. How old is Russ at this point?
I feel like they're similar in age. I guess Kirk's probably older. No,
I think they're probably
it's the same draft.
Russ is 35 now. So I do think Kirk's maybe a year younger. Nope, they're both 35. Look at that.
All right.
They're both
They
35.
both that 2012 draft.
And they'll both turn 36 later this year. Both born in 88.
All right, so there's no difference.
Except for if you still think that part of what makes Russ dangerous is his escapability, and you believe that at 35 that's now compromised. And so because of that, the only danger is the guy that can hump it a little bit more.
I would be. I mean, because the question is, which one are you more scared of? Like, which one?
Yep, that's.
I think I'm more scared of Russell Wilson. I think
it's weird.
I think he still has the ability to get back to.
I don't know.
Winning a Super Bowl.
I don't know. The stat I
Kirk
saw
has never done
yesterday.
that.
The stat that I saw yesterday about how much he was throwing behind the line of scrimmage last season.
Let's see here.
I wish I could pull it up.
See, just pull up some.
Russell Wilson line of scrimmage. See if that comes up with anything. Somebody. He
Had a 77 grade in PFF last year.
Warren Sharp, he threw 27% of his passes behind the line of scrimmage, the most of any quarterback since 2005. 62% of his passes didn't go beyond 5 yards of the line of scrimmage, the second highest rate of any quarterback since 2005. Now,
I don't know. I mean,
again,
I'll be foolish, but I think Russell Wilson, even at this point, they're both going to be 36. Has the higher ceiling.
Those numbers were rough for me. They were rough for me. I don't know. I think maybe I'm being talked into. You're better off just. This is the Steelers trying to grab Michael Vick at the end and make something out of it, and it's just not there. Like, I think I might lean the other way. I think I might rather it be Russ. And then finally, number 4. Would you rather you are trapped in a broken down elevator for 3 hours?
I mean,
3 hours.
I think I got that cyanide pill and
what?
Just end it right there. There's no
point.
point.
Yeah.
No.
Or for 40 minutes, just 40 minutes, you're the lady that was dangling off the bridge last week in the
Did not see this.
You're not familiar with this?
I don't know.
Oh my God. One of the most harrowing things I've ever seen in my life. I believe it was in Kentucky, or like maybe on the border of Kentucky and Ohio. A truck. There was an accident on the bridge that involved
Why do all your links do this? They always say unavailable. I clicked the link that you tweeted.
For which one?
For that one.
On Twitter?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know the answer to that question.
Truck dangling? Is this one?
Yeah, if you just search truck dangling, I'm sure it'll come up pretty quickly because it was a pretty big news story last week. What the hell is going on?
Oh
with
my
that?
God. How did that even happen?
It worked fine for me. I clicked on the link and it worked. Oh no, it does say page unavailable. Son of a bitch. What is going on here? The hell? Yeah, just search truck dangling.
Oh my God. So it went through like a gap in the bridge?
No, it like went over the barrier on the side of the bridge and was just dangling there. Just,
oh my God.
I mean, harrowingly dangling there. Stuck. Now, thankfully, after 40 minutes, they sent a rescue team down, got this lady out of the cab, and she was fine. But for 40 minutes, you are stuck, dangling.
Do I know it's going to be 3 hours in the elevator?
3 hours in the elevator.
Got my
otherwise.
phone with me?
Yeah, but I can't guarantee you have service.
All right. I mean, I still got Angry Birds downloaded, so.
I can't guarantee your battery either.
Well, you don't know me. I'm not gonna get in an elevator with less
No,
than 20% on my phone.
No. There is at least a chance that your phone dies quickly.
Not me.
No, there is, because this is Would You Rather Wednesday.
Am I alone in the elevator? There's other people.
Stuck alone on the elevator.
So I know that
you're alone in either scenario.
I can hear like the fire department's like, yeah, it's gonna be 3 hours.
3 hours.
Jesus.
3 hours.
Well, I get to sue after this, or
no? Nobody gets sued. You get nothing
well, they don't
in either
know.
scenario. It's your error both times. You screwed up the elevator. You hit the wrong button. There was a button.
I had to stuck
a
stuck
button
for
that
3 hours.
said stuck for 3 hours, and you hit that button. They're like, sorry, man. In fact, you might get sued. Yeah, it's possible.
Why'd you hit that button?
Yeah, it's only like you knew you were gonna be stuck for 3 hours. You messed up the whole building. Nobody was able to do their job on Thursday.
I don't have to poop, do I?
I can't guarantee that.
Come on.
These are all things you have to consider in both scenarios. Poop might come out of you in the other scenario.
Can I have a piece of gum on me?
I can't. You're asking for things I can't give you, Griffin.
Guess I'm establishing a pee corner early.
Clearly, you'd have to establish. Well, I mean, if it's just you, the whole thing could be your pee corner.
Well, I mean, what am I going to stand in my sit in my piss the whole time?
I mean,
guess I'm stuck in the elevator.
Still choosing the elevator in this
so.
scenario, dude. Like, if I know it's only for 40 minutes,
I know, like I'm trying to be like.
That's the part that like
once like.
Because
the immediacy of being like, oh,
right, correct.
I'm hanging over the bridge, bridge, and then like realizing, okay,
if I've got a seatbelt on,
I got to assume nobody's gonna come up and push this thing,
right? my
phone does have battery.
I still feel like being in that position, like for 40 minutes. I always think about whenever I go to an amusement park. Like I'm not afraid of roller coasters.
You remember that
like,
roller coaster, the Griffin at Busch Gardens in Williamsburg?
I didn't know it was called the Griffin.
Yeah.
I was not a fan.
That's one that like hangs you for like 10 seconds.
Okay.
It's like like once you get to the
yeah, but
drop,
I look at like certain spots. Like if I got stuck on this roller coaster, like what would be the most power? Because like there, if you're stuck like dangling like that, it's hell. Like almost at a certain point, I feel like you're like tempted to just release and the sweet release of death, like just have it be over with, because that's got to be the most terrifying feeling that there is. That's the part that like I keep coming back to is like you're just you can't move, you can't like go sit comfortably on the other side of the cab. You know what I mean? Like you've just got to be there dangling, and I feel like I just couldn't do it. I almost to the point where after I wrote this question, I thought,
like a video of the rescue. Ooh.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's amazing. I can't believe you didn't see it. What do you pay attention to on the internet?
Sports.
Pornography.
Texas State and ODU.
Yeah, that's what you've got.
Pissing
How much
me
did you bet
off.
on?
I did bet on Texas State.
Yeah, that's the answer. Well, then it was good news for you. The shot didn't count.
Was, but I mean, I just couldn't.
Did they end up winning? I don't even know how the game played out.
Texas State ended up winning. So
did they
went
cover?
to overtime.
Did they cover?
They did end up covering.
Look at that.
Yeah, ODU just kind of
big moment for you.
Pooped the bed in overtime.
Thank God they were wrong. What was I?
You said, what do I do? I guess.
Oh, I was to the point where like if you told me the number was 8 hours in the elevator, I still might have to choose that over 40. Like I kept thinking about just hanging there. I feel like there's got to be a limit to like how long I could stay relaxed and not go into a place where like my mental state will never recover from it. And I don't know what that number is. But like at least if I like in the elevator I could fall asleep. Like in the elevator at some point.
I guess, yeah.
I could at least attempt.
Dirty in there.
Yeah, I mean it's not gonna be pleasant. Nobody's saying that, but at least I could attempt to, I've slept on floors before in my life. No, you don't get to have a book. What's wrong with you? All right, continue to get me your responses.
Maybe there's an outlet. And,
shut up.
Like
Continue to get. You're not
watch
getting
TV.
that. No. Continue to get me your responses at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter or Facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio. I can't see them, but someone else can, and we're going to pick a winner for Would You Rather Wednesday. You get a $25 gift card to Glory Days Grill, Goose Fights Lager, great beer, good food, obviously the wings, the ribs. I always tell you about the cauliflower wings at Glory Days Grill, glorydaysgrill.com. All right, let's get a tidbit. Tidbit is brought to you today by the Green Turtle. Griffin, what's going on at the Green Turtle tomorrow?
Free $10 bets every Thursday at the Green Turtle Sportsbooks in Towson and Canton. And you can use it on whatever you would like. I know on Saturday, Jeremy Kahn will be in Towson for UFC 299, so he'll be hanging out there all night. And I'm sure giving you advice on what all the other sports going on Saturday and probably Sunday the following day. But you can experience the ultimate destination for game day excitement, great food, and live in-person betting. So go check out the Green Turtle Bet Park Sportsbooks in Towson and Canton. Pick up your free bet and make some money while enjoying some food and sports tomorrow night.
All right, what you got for tidbits?
I got a Victor Wembanyama tidbit here.
Our guy Spencer Schultz, who of course is our new sports betting analyst at PressBoxOnline.com, has been betting his over on blocks regularly.
It probably, I don't know what the number is, but it probably is a good bet. He's
apparently been cleaning up.
All right. I mean, he's averaging like almost 5 blocks a game.
And I think the number still is like, I think he pointed out the number is always still like 2.5.
That's pretty good. So he recorded over the weekend a 30, 10, 5, and 5
he had
game.
7 blocks last night.
30 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5 blocks. As a rookie, only 3 players have ever done that. 30, 10, 5, 5.
30, 10, 5, 5 as a rookie.
Yes. Wemby is one of them.
I don't know. As a rookie.
They all have something in common.
All have something in common. They're all international?
No, they're not.
They're all Spurs? Tim Duncan? Manu?
No, not Manu.
David Robinson?
David Robinson,
really?
Tim Duncan, and now Wemby are the only 3 players to do this as rookies.
How about that? That's wild.
There are also only 6 players that have ever done this 3 times, have had 3 games of 30, 10, 5, and 5.
In a season?
Ever in their career.
Oh, in their career.
Yeah.
Wow.
The most, this player had 14 such games for the most games of 30, 10, 5, 5.
I mean, Russell Westbrook.
No. Need 5 blocks. We need 5 blocks.
Oh, 5 blocks.
Yes.
Right. So
you have 2 of them.
So it's Wembanyama and Duncan?
No, Wemby's only done it once, but yes.
Duncan and David Robinson?
Yes.
Okay.
David Robinson's done it 11 times.
10, 5, 5.
Third most all time. Or tied for second most, actually. And Duncan did it 4 times.
So the other is Karl Malone.
No, not Karl Malone.
The other is Kareem.
No, not Kareem.
The other is
Karl Malone only did this once.
Patrick Ewing.
No, Patrick Ewing only twice.
Alonzo Mourning.
Not Alonzo Mourning.
Shaq.
Shaq tied for second with David Robinson. 11 games.
The truth is, what I feel bad. Shaq was a capable passer, but you just don't associate him with getting 5 assists.
Yeah, the 5 assists.
You don't. Like when it was going into the post, it was typically dying there. It was just a different era of basketball too. Like that's just the way that it was.
I mean, he was also
the most dominant.
Literally.
Yeah, correct.
Bigger
Force.
than everybody.
Yes, 100%. Is that it?
No. I had six of these guys.
Oh
got
God,
2.
there's still 2 more.
3 more.
Kevin Garnett.
Not Kevin Garnett. Only twice.
Hakeem.
Yes, Hakeem most.
Okay.
14 games for Hakeem Olajuwon.
The guys that you associate with blocks, like Dikembe Mutombo, there's no way.
Yeah, no, not Mutombo.
Dennis Rodman, there's no way.
They're both active. The other 2 you're missing.
Both are active.
The only 2 active, actually.
The only 2 that are active. Joel Embiid.
Yes, Joel Embiid, 4 games.
And Draymond.
No, not Draymond.
30 points is tough.
Yeah. He's
Karl Anthony Towns.
He's only done it twice.
Bum. He sucks. Jokic.
Not Jokic.
Not really a rim protector necessarily. I don't know. All right.
He is a Laker.
He is Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis 3 times.
Yeah, I should.
Paul Gasol did this twice. Larry Nance did this twice.
Which Larry Nance? Senior or junior?
Senior.
Okay.
Senior, yes. I thought there was another funny one I saw. Dwayne Wade did it. Elton Brand did this. Chris Webber. Robert Parrish. All once. Yeah.
All right. Good group.
Giannis has done it once.
Good group.
Boogie has done it once.
Very good. Tidbit was also brought to you today by Atman's Deli. So excited about the new Atman's. I saw Brett Hollander tweeted out yesterday that he almost feels like he's cheating on the original Atman's when he goes to the new Atman's in Harbor Point. I'm like, dude, it's so good. It's just so good. If you're craving that classic New York deli experience, look no further than the new Atman's Deli in Baltimore's Harbor Point. Corned beef piled high, hand-rolled bagels, and something different. This one's got a bar. Atman's Harbor Point. Go to atmansdeli.com for daily specials. Tubular brought to you by Superbook. Of course, you can bet. If you want to bet the Orioles tonight, you can bet it at Superbook. As we said, they're favored again this evening as they take on the Pirates. -180 favorites. The total in that game is set at 10. If you want to bet that and everything. No local hoops teams in action tonight. I think the Wizards maybe play, something like that. I don't know. Who would possibly? They play the Magic tonight. They are 7-point home dogs.
Everyone can go watch the new episode of The Bad Batch.
Sure.
On Disney Plus.
You can bet all those things at Superbook. Download the Superbook app and use the code GlennClark23 when you sign up. You'll receive up to $250 in a same-day first bet match, win or lose. The big one tonight, Paramount Plus, the Women's Gold Cup semifinals. First up, Brazil, Mexico at 7 o'clock, followed by the U.S. and Canada at 10:15.
Paramount Plus?
Paramount Plus for tonight. That is after the radio. The radio show tonight is 6 to 9, so I'll be home in time to watch the match. Perfect. I do like that. Lacrosse TV this afternoon, Maryland, William & Mary women at 5 o'clock. As I mentioned, the Orioles take on the Pirates. The only broadcast, if you're an MLB TV subscriber, is a Pirates audio broadcast. Mitch Keller and Julio Teheran. Another day with another even pitching matchup. But that's at 6 o'clock. Big Ten Hoops tonight on BTN. Northwestern, Michigan State at 7. Indiana, Minnesota at 9. The rest of the college basketball, find at GlennClarkRadio.com. BYU, Iowa State's pretty good, 9 o'clock on ESPN2.
The Tennessee-Carolina game.
Oh, yeah. South Carolina, Tennessee, 7 o'clock on ESPN2. Yeah, everything else.
Oh,
going quite great.
UConn.
Marquette, yeah, at 8:30 on FS1. Monumental for Magic Wizards at 7, ESPN Clippers Rockets 7:30, Bucks Warriors at 10, CBS Champions League Man City and FC Copenhagen at 3, Paramount Plus has Real Madrid and RB Leipzig at 3. Tennis Channel, Indian Wells gets underway. One of my favorites. The Sunshine Double begins today. Indian Wells and then Miami after that. 2 tournaments in America with great fields, despite the fact that like the U.S. Open Series isn't until later. It's always a weird time like on the calendar because it's between the Australian Open and the French. Like you're not really getting ready for the French when you play these hardcore tournaments in America, but the hell, it's Indian Wells and Miami and they're great tournaments. So that starts today at 2. MLB Network. By the way, I don't like. It feels like you should be betting center to win the Indian Wells, but Indian Wells is a little bit trickier. It's always trickier to bet 3-set tournaments. I feel like it.
Is Nadal in it?
Yes. But I feel like the bet is Djokovic again in a 3. But it's also
boring.
A weird. But it's also weird too because you get to these back-to-back days that you don't have in slams, and does that hurt some of the older guys? It is tougher to bet an event like Indian Wells than it is to bet the U.S. Open. But MLB Network, Mets Astros at 1 o'clock. TBS for AEW Dynamite tonight at 8 as well. Non-sports.
I mentioned Bad Batch, of course. I'll have to let Drew know that season 2 of Full Swing is out on Netflix. This is the golf Drive to Survive.
Yes.
So follows
Djokovic, by the way,
season.
plus 165, center plus 290. Alcaraz plus. There's somewhere where you could throw a couple bucks at Carlos Alcaraz to win.
What is he, plus
Indian
3?
Wells. Plus 4.
Oh, plus 4.
Plus 4. Throw a couple. But this is a weird tournament. Like Taylor Fritz won this tournament a couple years ago. Like this is Indian Wells. Yeah, he stinks. This is the nature of some of these events is because you're not like when you get to the summer and you're talking about Cincinnati and Toronto, those are like tune-ups for the U.S. Open, and the cream tends to rise to the top. Not always the case at Indian Wells and Miami. Like Hubie Hurkacz won Miami a couple years. Like you get some more random winners of these events than you do.
Ooh, Osaka's in the Indian Wells?
Yeah, she was in the Australian too.
She's not going to.
I mean, she's got to prove that she's capable of winning again before.
I think it's this tournament.
Yeah?
Plus 4,000? Should I do it?
I would not myself,
all right,
knock yourself out. Andrei Rublev is plus 4,000. That's worth a sprinkle, I think.
Jesse Pegula? Plus 2,500.
I'm not feeling Jesse Pegula recently.
Okay. The Masked Singer, season 11 on Fox. Fox is the place to be. Animal Control right after The Masked Singer, season 2 premiere. Then the Family Guy makes its time slot premiere right after Animal Control. Now on Wednesdays, I guess, on Fox. And then that's really it. Survivor will be on CBS. John Cena will be on Jimmy Fallon tonight.
Okay. Very good.
Ricky Stenicki's out Friday. Or no, actually, I think it's tomorrow.
No, then I take back very good.
Ricky Stenicki's not going to be good?
It doesn't do anything for me.
Zac Efron, Ricky Stenicki.
Doesn't do a thing for me, dog. No, thank you.
Well, I mean, he might talk about his OnlyFans. Right. Maybe some WrestleMania talk in there.
Yeah, he keeps tweeting about his OnlyFans.
Who knows?
I swear he tweets things like, watch me bust a nut. Because he's like actually.
That's what I figured. Because he's actually busting a nut.
I hate it here. Tubular was also brought.
You're just jealous you didn't think of it.
That's exactly what it is. Tubular was also brought to you by Toyota. Again, play Pick'em, still available at countysports.zone throughout the course of the state high school basketball tournament. It's all brought to you by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. Thanks today to Drew Forrester. Thanks to Mike Bordick and to Eric Edholm. We'll get it all up in the greatest hits section of the
Oh, my God, it's so good.
tab at glennclarkradio.com. On the program tomorrow, remind me.
Jake Mintz.
Jake Mintz, our buddy, no longer, he's still at Cespedes Family Barbecue, of course, but he's now, I think, at Yahoo, and then he wrote a lot of the Orioles stuff that was in the Baseball Prospectus book, the big book that comes out every year, the actual Baseball Prospectus. He handled a lot of that.
Oh, and Coach Bruce Weber.
Bruce Weber from Big Ten Network, of course, former Illinois coach. We're just going to have an honest conversation about Maryland, about is it as bad as some people think it is? Is it understandable? How much of it can be fixed in 1 year? Like, I want to have an honest conversation about that. I've been ignoring Maryland basketball more often, but I want to have I want an educated person to go deeper with it, so we'll have Bruce Weber try to help us out with that. Stuff and things.
Fighting words.
Sure. Thanks to everybody at Pressbox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Ruth's Chris, Live Casino and Hotel, Atman's Deli, AJ Michaels, Guilford Hall Brewery, Royal Farms, Costas Inn, Superbook Sports, Glory Days Grill, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Tonight, Rita and Glenn 6 to 9 on The Fan. And I think we're doing a book club to start the show off tonight.
The Stalker Lover.
More about that, but also Chowchilla. We've all watched Chowchilla.
Right,
We're definitely going to talk about that.
Is that better or worse than Lover
I
Stalker?
like all of these. I'm a sucker for these. I like them. What's the one that's like a 4-parter that was on Netflix recently that's like it's a murder, but it's also a government conspiracy that you told me about?
Oh, the program.
The program?
Yes, the one that the one from
Should
yesterday.
that be next? We got to pick what's next for book club.
I know there were a couple more last week. I forget what they were already though.
All right.
I mean, that could be the next one. I'm trying to see if there's anything else this week coming out. Not this week coming out.
All right.
So yeah, maybe that is the one.
All right. Have a great Wednesday night. Go U.S. Women. Is that it? Yeah. Duke sucks. Oh, I don't do that anymore. Just Duke sucks.